Hey everybody, this is Devil Dog underscore 88 going live. Whew. Good morning everybody. Going live. Jay, can you see where my glasses are? I got them. What's going on everybody? Good morning. Jean says good morning. Good morning. Whew. Got a lot of rain today already. Hey says good morning, Devil Dog in chat. All right. How are all the devil pups doing today? Alaska, good morning, Alaska. Lots of rain here in Ohio, no doubt about it. And I know there was a lot of rain in Illinois and everywhere else, it seemed like. Alaska says he's working. Nothing wrong with that, my friend. Nothing wrong with that. Anymore, we got to work to survive. Bring Nancy home, says Paige. So there's a lot of stuff come out. I don't have all the integral parts, but there is some. I don't have all the integral parts, but there is some information. Some still waiting to hear. Did they release an individual or whatnot? An individual that they had, I believe yesterday. I believe yesterday they went ahead and had an individual that they were talking to, the law enforcement, someone of interest. Wasn't an arrest. It wasn't it wasn't something that was literally anything more than they were just talking to him. And I don't know, I think they released him already. They had detained somebody, person of interest. According to what was reported, from everything I hear from Nancy Grace is what I heard, but didn't hear too much. Jim is back. He is going to start searching tomorrow. Hoorah. Good to have Jim back. Yes. Love when Jim does his searching. So have you guys heard, right? Obviously. I think I've got a lot of emails from a lot of people talking about that they had a person that they had detained. Can't wait to watch Jim again. I'm with you. So I did read a lot of your all's information, read a lot of your guys' emails that you sent. And, there's always going to be people that are going to critique channels, right? There's always going to be people that's going to critique other people's channels. There's always going to be the people out there that are either, think that they understand more than others or, think that they get it. Thank you so much. Appreciate you, Paige, for going ahead and promoting the channel on Exploring with Jim. There's going to be a lot of haters one way or the other. And the reason is because I think what happens is when you hear someone talk and you hear what they present and you hear the information and you hear what their sources are and you hear what their knowledge are, sometimes to some people it can be a little, well, let's just say a little intimidating. You know what I mean? And so there's streamers out there that are going to say, oh, anybody who's following this case with dealing with Richard, they're crazy. They're making everybody look bad. They're not, they're the reasons why streamers get a bad name. But the reality is that we have always said you follow the lead. Whatever the lead is, you follow it, unless it's really that off the wall. And case in point, you know, this current information with Richard, this current information with Richard that has come out through Sleuth Intuition has been really, really eye opening, for a better lack of words. And I think that's what you always have to remember. You have to look at who's saying what is being said, and then you have to also look at who's presenting this information. Streamers try to provide information, support the streamers too. Alaska. So let's get to it. Without further ado, happy good morning, Saturday morning. I'm glad you're all in here. So let's get to the conversation. So you guys heard of the person that was detained, right? Apparently it came out. I didn't know nothing about it until they were going ahead and you guys were bringing it to me. Hello, Groundsky. Good to have you. So apparently this person that was detained, I believe, and I could be wrong on this, but I believe he was already released. Don't know much of who, what, when. Don't know who it was. Not sure who it was. Don't know if anybody here knows who it was. But they definitely had something to do that they believed they needed to ask him questions, because that's really all detainment is, right? When you detain somebody, you're not arresting them. You're not calling them a suspect. You're just detaining them to ask questions. Okay. So that's all that's really been said. They asked questions, don't know what questions they asked, but then they went ahead and apparently they released him, if I'm not mistaken. Good morning, good morning. Good morning, Bridge. Bridget's in the house. Pay says it's bullshit. Yeah, probably. No doubt. I know Zilt, says Groundsky. Now they're saying it's nothing. Supposedly, Nano said, no, they did. No, they don't have anyone. And and that's the thing with when you have social media, you're going to have a lot of people coming out from a lot of different sources saying different things. And you have to try to go ahead and decipher all that information in real time. And sometimes that's really difficult to do because of the fact that anybody can put information out there, right? Anybody can put information out there. And what you need to do is try to validate the information that you're hearing. I couldn't validate some things when people were sending me emails I was looking up, and I couldn't I'll be honest, I couldn't find the interview of supposedly Nancy Grace saying this, but that's what I'm saying. Supposedly it was that, and really supposedly doesn't get you anywhere. Validate your information. Amen. Amen. That's what you got to do, because here's the thing. Everything we have been talking about on this Richard Nolet Jr. has been something that has been just an opinion based on what he has talked about in his two lives with Sleuth Intuition. So we're just going by what has been said, what has been talked about. And no one is saying that he's 100% right. No one is saying that he's mentally fit. No one is saying anything like that. We're just saying those ideas have crossed the Rubicon. They have crossed our attention, right? They cross our path. So you have to take every lead seriously if you are investigating. Right. Paige says, open mouth, insert foot. Gronsky says, good morning, Gene. Gail says, morning all. Alaska, right. We don't know if R is legit. It's exactly right. We don't. We can only go by what the information tells us, what he tells us, and then try to validate as much as we can, you know? And that's really the crux of it all. That's all you can do. And that's all we've been saying. I mean, we've talked about TC, we talked about LD, we talked about uh, uh, um, We talked about, I'll just call him the backpack guy. We talked about, I think his last name was, what was it? Uh, I can't even think of his last name, to be honest. We talked about a lot of different people, but those are all just opinions. They're not necessarily, like, we don't have that golden nugget to call it a fact. But I tell you what, when you get information and you start combining the information, it starts to draw you a picture. Okay? It starts to draw a picture. Doesn't mean that it's fact, it's just drawing you that picture. It's what you're seeing. You got it, Paige. You got it. Mary's in the house. Good morning. So I'm reiterating all this stuff. You all know this. You all know this. Everybody who is a devil pup knows this. But people on the outside may not understand, and that's why I'm regurgitating this so that everybody understands. These are opinions based on information that we get and that we look into and that we try to literally either source out, validate, or try to figure out what is fact to what is not fact. That's how it works. That is how it works. Sloot did say are supposed to go to police for a couple of days interview. Yes, he did, which is awesome because I think that's something that, and I've just said it from the get-go, that needs to be done because they need to verify and check it. And I guarantee, I would almost, in my opinion, I would almost put a lot of stock on the fact that they heard the interview, they heard what he had to say with Sloot, they heard it and they said, man, we got to check this out because something's just not making sense here. You follow me? Kind of like everything we've been talking about in reference to that. Hi, Buttercup. Good to have you, Buttercup. Appreciate you. Barb, good morning, devil, dog, and pups. Ruff, ruff, ruff. Buttercup. So that's really where we're at. And I'm only regurgitating so that when anybody else watches this, any other streamer, they can understand that no one is saying that these people that have been mentioned are literally people who've done this heinous crime to Nancy Guthrie. We are saying you have to look at all the information as an investigator. And based on my experience in law enforcement and my take on how I have investigated cases in the past, that's exactly what you do. You take everything, you decipher and try to figure it out, and then you try to validate everything on what makes sense. That's what you do. So anybody who doesn't understand that, well, maybe they just don't understand how law enforcement works. Maybe they just don't understand how it's supposed to work, or maybe they just don't know anything about law enforcement and investigations. And that's why I have chosen to become part of this narrative as to let me see if I can bring it to a level where everybody can get it. Because I'll be honest, some people some agents are really so intelligent that sometimes they lose you in the weeds. Okay, they lose you in the weeds. So I try to make it where everybody can understand in basic layman's terms. This chat is the best, says Groundsky. Thank you so much. You guys make it the best. That's no doubt. That's a fact. And hey, I'll tell you this. I'm very boisterous when I say this. I'll put my resume against anybody. I have no problem with that. I will put my resume against anybody. Do I think there's people out there that are smarter? Yes. Do I think there are people that out there that know more than I do? Yes. Do I think there are people that are in law enforcement that have done more years and probably handled more cases? Yes. But on the big picture, I will put my resume with anybody. Okay? Let's just call it for what it is. I don't hide from my knowledge. I don't hide from what I know. I don't hide from what I've done. I don't hide from my experience, my training, my law enforcement hours. I don't hide for nothing. I will put it up with anybody. And yes, some people will be smarter because they have done more. But most, I'm pretty confident in what I know. Let's just say it like that. All right, so let's get to it. Enough of that. I have to cover that because I want to make sure that if anybody hears these lives, they understand these are opinions based on what and how you would handle an investigation. You know, they're not just something where I read a book and watched a story and this is how it usually goes. That doesn't fly. Okay? Those are stories, those are movies, those are things you read, little stories there. Okay? This is literally based on how things usually kind of work. All right? So, enough of that. Let's move on. Sleuth showing the video today at 2 p.m. So, I caught a video of Sleuth. You remember when he talked about he had, uh, let's just say let's just say RN. When RN, who had an interview with Sleuth, remember when he said that someone came up the stairs after he had put up some cameras? Remember that? Hey, Radiance, good to have you. DD's info right here. If you got a comment, leave me a comment. If anybody watching and you have an opinion, leave me an opinion. And if you think that I say something that's not correct, by all means, let me know. I'll be more than happy to correct it. But say it to me. Send me that comment. Thank you, Gene, for posting that. You are good at explaining things that even the simplest minds can understand. Thank you so much. Hi, Tennessee. Tennessee's in the house. Good to have you, Tennessee. Just trying to read everybody here. I am so happy with how this channel is turning out with everybody. Make no mistakes. God love you, Devil Dog. Thank you, Radiance. I appreciate you. No shame in Dog's game. That's a fact, Paige. That is a fact. DD's information. Take that email down, everybody. That's how you can reach me. Good or bad, that's how you can get a hold of me and let me know what you think or what you think for the people on the outside, leave me your opinions. Tell me why. If you don't agree with some of these things, then tell me why. Barb, you are a blessing dog, a real scholar and gentleman. Thank you so much. Appreciate you all. All right, so let's get to it. You remember, thank you, Tennessee. Thank you. All opinions here are welcome, but just be respectful to one another. That's what it's all about. That's how we're able to really understand each other, communicate with one another, and maybe, pick each other's brain and learn from one another. That's how it's supposed to work. The channel is free. If you are watching and you are not a subscriber, subscribe for free. Become a devil pup in Devil Dog _88 channel. This is our channel. We try to give you everything that's the best that we have. Jane says Daphne had showed in a stream of hers someone had took over Nancy's email address. Check that out. So someone's already trying to capitalize on Nancy's address, her email address. Carolina girl, good morning. Happy Saturday. Right back at you, Carolina girl. Alaska, smash the like buttons, everybody. Let's get this on the road and let's get this going. So you remember when that happened? Judy's in the house, new from Northwest Ohio. Another Buckeye. Thank you for being here, Judy. If you are new and you like the live, subscribe. It doesn't cost you anything. Get involved in the conversation. Thank you so much. Judy, I'm Van Wert, Ohio. Oh, that's Lisa. Yeah, Lisa saying yes. Lisa Van Wert. I am in Northwest Ohio, same as you, Judy. I am in Northwest Ohio. Awesome to have you, my friend. So, remember, hey, everybody here. I am in Seneca County. Hi, Carol. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and start. So, remember when RN, and if you don't know who these initials are, you need to let me know. RN had stated that he had put some cameras up outside his door, and that he had captured someone coming up who he believed was his brother. Okay? His brother, M. His brother. Remember when she said that, where he said that? And he said the first time he walked up the step and then he left. And the second time he walked about halfway up, he was looking, and you see how he was looking? He was looking around like this, looking up. And what did he do? First thing he was looking for, it seemed to me, some say, well, maybe he was looking for the door number. Maybe he was a door dasher. I don't buy none of that. Okay? The fact is, the matter is, he did the same thing that the perp did in front of Nancy's house. He walked up, he looked around, he seen in Nancy's front door, he then seen the cam there, right? Where he knew he had to try to go ahead and get rid of it. This guy who literally, who has given us this information that it's his brother, okay? The guy that walked up there, the MN, he looked straight up, looked to the right, and right at where there was a camera, that's what it appeared, a camera. And he went ahead and put his head down, and he slowly turned his body. Like, you have to watch his mannerisms of how he was walking up the stairs very cautiously. Yes, you have to look very cautiously how he was walking up the stairs. He had a bag in his hand. Now, I'm not sure that was a bag or what it was. Celtic Pet said that it could have been a netting type of bag, like a bag, those net bags that you carry stuff in. Because there was something that even Sleuth, when I was watching it this morning, said something to the effect of, "Man, that looks really troubling," because it kind of looked like and I'm just telling you what it looked like. You have to make your own assessment. It looked, when he turns to go back down, it really looked, and I know this sounds crazy, but it looked like a head. I don't know if anybody really caught that. And Sleuth was talking about it. He said, "Man, that's disturbing." Because at first it looked just like a bag, like a black bag, and it did have some like stuff that Sleuth said it was on the writing on the side. But when he turned around and had his hand by his side, it really looked like a head. I'm not lying. That's the fact. Now, you go look at it. Even Sleuth said, he didn't say a head. Well, he might have said a head. He said, "This is disturbing," looking at it from a different angle. So I'm just telling you what I saw. He also stated that he believed there was a pew-pew that he was holding as well. A pew-pew. You all know what a pew-pew is. Yes, yes. I mean, it was amazing. I'm not going to lie. That woke me up big time because I was like, what? I waited last night to see because if he was going to show it, but I guess he came on late and he did it. So I watched it this morning, and oh my God, it caught me off guard big time. Sabian says, yes. Appreciate you being here. Robert, allegedly, that's what we're saying. That's what it looked like, Robert. Allegedly. Yes, that's what it looked like. We're not saying that's what it was, but that's what it looked like when he turns around to go back down the stairs. Savior says it wasn't, though. It's what it looked like. Listen to the words that we're using here. It's what it looked like. Yes, very disturbing. Yes. Very creepy. No doubt about it. I'm not trying to creep anybody out. I've seen enough creepy stuff in my lifetime. I've seen enough creepy stuff to last you a lifetime. So I'm not trying to creep anybody or try to paint a picture that's not there. What I'm telling you is that when he turns around, that was a weird look when you look at it. That's all I'm saying. Okay? You can all go look at it. Sleuth has his thing up already. You can see what he's talking about. You can see that picture. He talks about it. You can follow it. You don't have to believe me because I'm watching him and I see it from him. So what he's saying is his opinion, just like it's our opinion. I can't stress that enough, everybody. It is our opinion. He was wearing some type of headset with a mic around it. Oh, I was thinking maybe it was something that, because he rides motorcycles, right? So I was thinking maybe it's one of these things that are longer, where they have a longer like lanyard where you can plug it into your bike. So as you're steering and riding your Harley, you can go ahead and you can hear everything. That's what I was thinking, but I don't know if that's what it was. It was different. That I will say, it was different, and even they said that. Even he said that it looked different, like he couldn't tell what the heck that was, but it did look like a headset. I just thought it may be something that you connect to your motorcycle so you can hear, or a Bluetooth or whatever. Sabian says he was wearing a headset with mic around the neck. You welcome. Tennessee, my husband has been in law enforcement his whole life. Nothing surprises me. There you go. Glad to have you, Tennessee girl, and glad to have your husband. It's nice to know and understand that people can understand where I'm coming from in here. I know you all get it who's been on this channel, but sometimes people who don't get it because they have no concept of how to break things down, then they just let their mind all take off and make their own assumptions of what's really being said. Alaska says, I'm hoping that was a helmet, right? But it was freaky. When you looked at it, you could see the outlay. You could see it looked puzzling. I'm not going to lie. Very strange. Gene says, we all saw it. It was just the camera. I don't know what it was, but it looked strange. That's what I saw. I listened to it, wasn't looking. Gotcha, Robert. No problem. No problem. Just go back whenever you get a chance. The guy had a similar build as the Porsche guy. Absolutely. And there was a couple of pictures that I have seen of his brother, and that did look like his brother. The one over there in Napa Valley. That did look like him. So, I mean, walks like a duck, looks like a duck. It probably was him. And that is what our end was saying that it was. And it did look like him. Tanya, good morning. It did. It really did. Hey, I'm telling you from what I saw. I seen those on undercover cops, those headsets. Oh, awesome. Awesome. I've never seen those type of headphones in law enforcement, but hey, I'll take your word for it. We use different type of headsets. Or at least I did back in my time. And even Slew said it's some type of headset, right? On his head. I just don't know. It was kind of long, yellowish, I think. Long. I just assumed it was something you would plug in maybe to your Harley if he rode his Harley. I don't know what he rode because they didn't show anything outside, but I was just trying to piece it together. Just an opinion. Gail said, my husband retired CPD lieutenant, ran a detective unit. Crazy stuff. No doubt. I'm telling you, everybody, if you've been in law enforcement and you've handled certain cases, you're going to see it all. In one way, shape, or another, you're going to see it all. And hey, kudos to the individuals that are in here that their husbands are in law enforcement. because that gives a lot of credibility and validation to what we're talking about. Thank you so much for pointing that out, Gail. Appreciate you. And tell your husband thank you for his service as well. Yes, I did look at MR. Tanya definitely looked like MN. It did. It really did. I mean, and the picture that I put up on the screen is just a picture of him walking up the steps. But I think I have another one on the side by side. Let me see. Let me see. Give me a second. Let me see. I think I might have another one on a side by side. Let's see here. I know I do. Give me a second. I'm talking. Give me 1 second. I'm trying to see if I can find it. God, I hope I have it in here. Might be on the phone that I'm using for the live stream. Well, anyway, if I find one, I will let you know. This one here is a little bit. How's the video? So much, everybody. Yeah, it's going to be on my other phone. But anyway, so that's what we were seeing, right? It looked just like him. I can't say for 100% that it was him, but it sure as heck looked like him. Okay, we can agree that it looked like him because it did look like MN, no doubt. And when you look at the side by side picture, my God, they look identical, as well as um, RN looks identical to the perp. But that would make sense, right? Because supposedly, according to RN, they're brothers. So why wouldn't they look similar? Yeah, cameras are our friends. Cameras don't lie, everybody. Video don't lie. Audio don't lie. Yeah, Paige says, R knows he threw M under the bus. No doubt about it. Looked like you could connect it to Bluetooth. Yes, it did, Bridget. Absolutely. R claims fear. Well, now we know why, right? Why now we know why he's in fear of his life as he claims. Makes sense to us, makes sense to me. Yes, CPD Illinois. Telling everybody. All the cameras up, Richard paranoid. Yes, for sure, Tanya. Now, Paige says, I also think R is not that scared as he claims. He's just smart. Very well could be. He could be playing that role. I mean, that's what people who are so cunning, that's why people who are kind of like deceivers, manipulators, I mean, all that falls under that narrative of that satanic upbringing, maybe that he was involved in, because that's what he claims that he was brought up in. We're not saying that. He's saying that. Gronsky, even the medical world, they like pictures of your insides. So, yes, cameras everywhere. No doubt about it. That's well said, Gronsky. Gene, dog, someone looked over Nancy's email before this happened. Okay, okay. Interesting. Alaska, yep, sneaky. I'm telling you, once again, that's what it looks like to me. Just saying. Because at first it looked like when he's carrying that bag, I could see exactly what Salute Intuition was talking about when he was saying, oh my God, look at this. It does look like this. It could be this. But he never said it was this, right? Just like we're not saying it is what we're saying it is. We're saying that's what it could look like. That's what it does look like. Caps for the blind folks, says Gene. Took over. Robert. If you guys are new and you like the live, subscribe. Everybody's opinion is valid in this chat, no doubt. Sabian says his playlist was videos about narcissist trauma. They sure were. They sure were. I think he's very traumatized, but could very well a narcissist now himself. Very true. Very, very true, Sabian. That is very true. Took over her email. She says, "You're killing me, dog." Alaska, yes, he's. I just want to clarify everything. Alaska says, yes, his YouTube channel has weird videos. Older ladies, what was that? What was that porn of older ladies or something like that? It's just crazy. You can't make this stuff up, everybody. You got to go where the lead takes you, where the facts are taking you. Those that we saw, those like his videos, those are fact. That's what it shows, right? So it's not like we made it up. R is now the abuser rather than the abused. Could be, could be. Doesn't mean that R wasn't abused as a kid. Just means that yes, he very could be. Hey now, song says, hey now, older should never be said with the word lady together. Okay, you got me there, song. I don't think I did, but maybe I did. It wasn't thinking. Glad you're in here, song. Hey, so far our wins. But remember when he was claiming all these things and we were like, well, there's no validation. Like there's nothing that he's validating. Well, he did say about this happening, and guess what? It does appear that he's able to back that up with what he was able to show to Sleuth, right? He sent those pictures to Sleuth. So it does say that he was able to at least show what he was talking about as legit. So it's not like he's seeing things. It's not like he's hearing things. He's providing some validation to what he has claimed. It's just that the big validation of where is Nancy, that hasn't come to fruition yet. And that's the big nugget. Okay. But he told you the who, what, where, why. Okay. Now, that's not validated, but it very well could be in time. That's why you take all these things seriously. That's why you bring people in for questioning. That's why you detain people so that you can get information, so that you as an officer can read that tools that you have learned in law enforcement to be able to go ahead and pick apart when someone is lying or they're telling you the truth. Lee Page says until he gets caught. Paige, Richard's game right now. Absolutely. Absolutely. I believe that. We need LE to get busy. I agree with that. No doubt. And it looks like they're going to have an interview with this individual. Gene, I'm reading my notes. R claims he was 14 when his mom and brother put the bomb on. Yes. 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 He said he was 14. And if I recall right, I remember that was a very big story back then. Very big story. Uncle Phil built the plane. Yeah, I remember him saying that too. Uncle Phil. Uncle Phil. And somebody said a while back, if I remember, somebody said something about Uncle Phil, the Prince of Bel Air. Remember that? That little sitcom? I just had to throw that in. Because now I see where they were going with that. Song says, who is LE? Law enforcement. Law enforcement. Pay, say B. Say B, not. Say B, not. I'm not sure I follow, but hey, it's all good. Robert, the equals law enforcement. Yes, absolutely. Gronsky, this is good news that there will be an interview. Yes, absolutely. Well, how do you literally like put something to the side and say, well, this had nothing to do with it? You follow up on a lead. You investigate it. You talk to the source and you say, hey, this is what we got. Give me some answers. We want to know, where did this come from? What happened here? And that's how you're able to go ahead and either say, hey, we got something here, or B, we don't got something here. It's that simple. It really, truly is that simple. Robert Gronsky, this is good news that there will be interviews. The Lisa Page song, thanks. You very welcome. Gene, and in 1963, his dad was promised the luxury home and whatnot, and he didn't receive it for doing something that was so heinous, according to Robert, doing something so heinous for the CIA and the FBI, and then they did not come through with their promise. So therefore, he became I guess you could say, anti-government. He became against police. He became the man that he became because he felt betrayed. I guess that's fair to say. Bridget, he also has a few videos on his playlist list about narcissists. I told you, narcissists, man, those people, yeah, there's a reason why they're in the spectrums, in the DM spectrums. There's a reason why that narcissist, very dangerous, could be very dangerous. Pay says, you, Bridget, R is educated. R knows about mental disease. R did his homework. Alaska, sometimes the abused become abusers, Sally. That is very true, Alaska. Well said and well point to make. And that's a fact, everybody. Sometimes the abused, they become the abusers as well. It's what they know, it's what they went through. I mean, if they were able to deal with it and function, then they feel like everybody else should be able to deal with it and function. You know? Gene says, I have to remember mile marker 17.1 for Jim. There you go. Make sure we get that information to him. Absolutely. Page Alaska 100%. Gronsky, in 1963, I became part of this world. There you go. What a young man you were, Gronsky. Gene, R gave 30 to 40 pages to Pima County. He did? He did. Talk to the FBI too. No one gave him the time of day. But now, at least they're going to have a conversation with him. And I tell you, I told you guys before, did I not tell you that it's a no-brainer you would bring him in? Except I said you'd bring him in, and that simultaneously you would send out a dive party out to that lake simultaneously. So if that was found, if those parts were found in those bags, now they could go ahead and call back instantly and let them know, hey, we have something here. And at that point, he becomes literally the main suspect, only because he gave you that information, until he's able to go ahead and vet to everyone, to the cops, to law enforcement, what is exactly how it all happened and how did he get all his information. Lisa says self-preservation, R is suspect number 4. Absolutely. No doubt about it. He's just not Kiki and the camera guy down to maybe the fifth spot. I would agree with that. I would definitely agree with that. I would even say he's probably number 3rd. And that just moved TC to the number 4th, literally. Only because he knew too much of what happened. How did he get that information? Sabian, I abused as a child by stepfather. He was a narcissist and I'm an empathy, and they prey on us. He abused brother too. He's a narcissist way back. Sorry to hear that, Sabian. Sorry to hear that. No doubt about it. Prayers go to you, my friend. Sorry to hear that. Yeah. Uh, yeah, sorry to hear that, my friend. Glad you're in here. Appreciate you. How did you clear neighbor Clay, please? I never cleared neighbor Clay. I've been really honestly, I heard and read some stuff about his crime record, his crime jacket. That's what law enforcement calls his, basically like his host of what he's done, his crime jacket. I've read it, not read it, but I've heard about a lot of the things he has done in his jacket, and it's quite a bit. And it does fit a person who you would definitely talk to just because he had all those elements of break-ins and assaults and whatever else there was in there. There was a lot of stuff there. So he definitely just fits on the sole purpose like LD. He fits that narrative because of his pattern of behavior. Absolutely, he fits that. Definitely, you could use that just to talk to him, have a conversation. You know, nothing hurts to talk. Groundsky, I'd like to see Jim's new bike, no doubt, no doubt, no doubt. Same here. Like I've been saying. So sorry that happened to you, Sabian. No doubt about it, my friend. You and your brother. Jim's a good man. He is putting so much into search. He is. That's why I like Jim. Groundsky, Jim is going to search the lake. Lisa Page, Devil Dog, Hard, you got it. Thank you much. Appreciate it. Right back at you. Marianne, Jean, 7803. I believe Jim is back. Remember to tell him about. Yes, she said that earlier. Absolutely. What a reminder, though, Marianne. Mile marker 17.1. Paige, AJ. Dog's Gone Live. Sleuth. Bring Nancy. Thank you, Mary Ann. Marianne, very welcome. Lisa, but Clay K napping before. Yeah, like I said, all you can go with him is his prior, all his prior things that he has done. And that sometimes, well, when you look at people who have done, when you're looking for somebody who could be a potential person of interest, you're looking at, has he done these things before? Has he done similar things before? Has he broken into houses before? You basically using that, and that's good enough to say, hey, we want to have a talk with you. And it's nothing wrong for cops to have a talk with you based on that. Not saying you did anything, just saying we need to have a talk. Girthy, yeah, was filmed out by Lisa Page. Thank you, Lisa. Appreciate that. Wake, bake, entertain. Sorry, says wake, bake. Sabian, it's been rough, and I told him I forgive him before he passed. That's big of you, Sabian. No doubt about it. That's very big of you. And you know what? All I can say is prayers are with you all, my friend. Page, in the house on time out. Sounds good to me. Jean, don't see it. Lisa. Lisa Gertie was the name. Well, good. I'm glad you caught it because I didn't see it either. So good. Clay was arrested for kidnapping, and I heard his lawyer is friends with Nanos. There you go. Seems like everybody in some way, Marianne, is connected in some way, shape, or form. They're all intertwined. Like if not purposely, just like there's the word again, coincidence. Like they're all somehow affiliated. Ugh, enough to drive you crazy. Soaring energy. Interesting how simultaneously someone was taken into question from the ransom letter. Distraction from this going on. Very well could be, Soren. Very well could be. No doubt. Wake the bake, says Lisa. Thanks. Wake the bake. Yay, everything is up for debate with this. Amen. No doubt. Puff, puff, pass. Gene. Hi, Shirley. Lisa. So many distractions. Oh my God, drive you crazy. Alaska, puff, puff, pass, laughing out loud. Wake the bake. Gene, I understand it's just so far fetched. I don't know. But hey, you maybe have something there too. Lisa with the red hearts. Gene, anyone can have their own opinion about all of this. Amen. No doubt. No doubt. Sabian, thank you. You're very welcome, my friend. Thank you for sharing that with us. I know that's not easy to talk about, no doubt. Wake bait. Alaska laughing out loud. I heard Clay's lawyer is friends with Nanos and Nash. I'd have to do research on that, Marianne, to be honest. I don't know, but it wouldn't surprise me. I mean, it just wouldn't surprise me, in all honesty. Pay says all connected. It's vibes. In my opinion, the perp is Richard himself. Very well could be. It's a vibe. Very well could be. Yeah, everything seems to know how he would have known all these things. Now, some people will say, well, he just said anybody can say all this. Yeah, but not anybody can say these things, would say these things. And then on top of that, not only that, but some things we were able to validate. He was able to say, and we were able to check, and sure enough, it did correspond. It just wasn't the big nuggets, it was the little nuggets. Wake says, got to run, but always watching every morning. You all have a good day. You too, Wake. Thank you for being here. It's pretty crazy, all of it. Sometimes we've never heard before. Some things we never heard before. But at this point, I feel their meaning the police needs to look at everything. They have to. They have to look at everything. If they're wanting to do the due diligence, they have to look at everything. Everything is a lead. As long as it's not really, really out there, like we have to go to Egypt to go ahead and go into a pyramid to go ahead and get Nancy's body. Well, that may not be that may not be feasible and that may not be logical. But 30.6 miles away from Nancy's front door in a lake, that is very probable. Sabian, I'm sorry, but I've lived there. I would find a way to sneak in that water and dive, even with the snorkel, no air tank. Oh, I get you. I get you, Sabian. No doubt. I get you. I totally understand where you're coming from. Mary says, I'm just not convinced he isn't the perp himself. I totally agree with you there too, Marion. You got tagged, Lisa. Don't know why. Keep an open mind, says Lisa. Jean. Yes, that's true. Lisa, no, I didn't. Gene, hi, it's a vibe. We said the same. What the F, Gene? It cleaned, it took out something you said. Alaska, I think the Nanos Nash connection is something border. Very well could be, Alaska. There's so many, you know, hypotheses here that you could look at and say, put this with this or put that with that. So many. And you just, but here's the thing, if you check them all out, if you're able to, you can discern from what is probable to what is not. After you said it all connected, it's all vibes. I truly feel he is giving his own confession. I thought the same thing. It's all a vibe. I thought the same thing. Almost like he was saying exactly what happened because he was could have been there. It could have been there. I feel he is giving his own confession. Richard just asked, I believe that could also be him in his own security footage. No doubt. Alaska, 100% they are. Hey, get off my ass. Lisa, JYK. Wake, thumbs up. Lisa, you're wrong, Gene. I deleted a comment, laughing out loud. Contact DD at, there you go. Gene just put out the email. If you need to contact me, give me a holler. Let me know what's up. Let me know what you think, what you don't agree with. If we're saying something that you don't agree with, it, let me know. Let me know. Maybe I can explain it a little bit better, or maybe I can see where you're coming from and I will correct it. But let me know, everybody. I'm not too big of a man not to say, hey, I was wrong. Maybe he or is the guy on the steps at the apartment also. I mean, I personally, Mary, don't think it's R that's on the steps. I think that is his brother. I seen some pictures and I'm telling you, it looks like his brother. It really does. And when you see how he slowly takes his steps and how he reads the area, he's looking. Now, we don't know what he's looking for, but it's ironic that as soon as he looks to the right and there's a camera there, he slowly puts his head down, slowly turns around, and walks back down. Kind of didn't somebody do that in front of Nancy's door? They were looking around and then they see that and they go and they try to cover it or try to, like, they were going to take it off or something, and then they turned around slowly, walked kind of like that individual on that stairs, walked, picked up the little flowers, foliage, or whatever you want to call it, and you know what I'm saying. I mean, there's a lot of similarities there, everybody. R could R be the third person involved? Very well could be. He very well could be. I would definitely be asking him those questions. Gene said, I said, sorry, Lisa. Alaska, yeah, same mannerisms. Absolutely. They're the same mannerisms. The same. Yes, Shirley, I agree. We thought that same. It makes sense. Faye says, especially me. Melanie says, good morning. I sent you an email yesterday about the Guthrie legacy. Do know if you had time to look at it. Melanie, I did look at it. I did. I want to look at it some more. It's been really busy, but I promise you, I'll look at it again and break it down as much as I can. But I do appreciate that. No doubt about it. Surely, Mike, his brother, with that fishing pick, yeah, he stands and fits that description to a perp. You can't make that stuff up. No doubt about it, Shirley. I agree with you 110%. Bridget Slew said you're not allowed to dive, swim, no boats or searching water, but you're allowed to fish. Fish in a form of searching. Why all those rules? Makes you wonder, right, Bridget? Makes you wonder. Gene, hit the like, everybody. Subscribe. If you are a new person to the channel, please subscribe to the channel. Click the likes. Let me see those red likes going off. Click the likes. Click the emojis. Build the algorithms. Do me that favor, everybody. Tanya says, what did I miss? Hi, Melanie. Good to have you, Melanie. Sabian, if he is involved, maybe it's like the singer guy who had the 14-year-old dismembered in the trunk. He did music videos basically depicting horrible stuff. Yes, you're very right. We talked a little bit about that they did make an arrest to him yesterday. I believe it was yesterday. They made an arrest and they charged him with the dismembering and some other charges on that 14-year-old. And I was going to go ahead and get into a little bit of that, but we've been busy with this whole thing going on here. But it's just as important. But you're right, Sabian. That is definitely right. Gene, we're not sure, Bridget, but I'm going to look into that. Bridget, we do have a lake out there where you can't swim either. There were two people that unallied in it. I think it's toxic. And that could be very well too. If they feel like there's a reason behind it, they can add certain stipulations. It may not, like, that old theory, one rules it for everybody else or someone rules it for everybody else. I mean, maybe that's the kind of thing that happened. Marianne said, hi, Tanya. Alaska, much hearts, yellow. Amen. Sabian, if I got caught in that lake diving, I just say I thought I was a fish. That's a good one. That's a good one. I like that. I like that, Sabian. Well said. Still a safe place. Yes, it is. Absolutely. No doubt. It doesn't get any safer. Not in here, as far as I'm concerned. Oh, okay, Gene. When I lived there, no rules like that for our lakes. Yeah, there's different rules for different reasons, but I don't know. I mean, I just think sometimes you just people make these funny or finical type of rules for sometimes it doesn't make sense, and then sometimes it's just a matter of who's in charge making those rules, right? The lake out there in Arizona looks natural. Maybe the one out of here by us is an old gravel pit. There's a lot of old gravel pits out here in Ohio, no doubt about it. A lot of these lakes that they end up, uh, uh, basically they use them for quarries, to get rock quarry, and then after they're done and they go move to another location, that ends up being filled with water and being a lake. It's very possible. The lake out there, Arizona. Robert says, a mermaid. Many hearts from Lise. Hi, Marianne, says Tanya. Bridget, if the water is toxic, I wouldn't want the fish there. I'd be afraid the fish are too toxic to eat. Right? Right? I mean, if they're going to say it's toxic, I definitely wouldn't be eating that fish. No doubt about it. Even if they said, oh, well, it's okay, it's toxic, but it's okay, this and that, I still wouldn't eat it. Two stone quarries in my small Ohio town. About 10 minutes away, we have two 3 Corys where I'm at, about 10 minutes away. It's just like I guess it's just a moneymaker. Bridget, 100%. They fish out of the one out here. Yeah, that's crazy. Don't know why, Bridget, right? So that's what we have. We have Melanie. It might seem far fetched and even improbable, but as I said, truth is stranger than fiction. That is true. No doubt about it, Melanie. No doubt about it. I agree with you 110%. Say, that's the big thing. That was the big thing last night. Other than somebody had said that they had a person that they went ahead and detained. Then you had obviously Sleuth went ahead and released some of those pictures and videos of the perp, or excuse me, of the brother, the brother of Robert Nolette Jr., claiming that that was his brother that was coming up the stairs. So there's been information out there. Once again, everybody, we are just giving opinions as to how it all seems to play out. But sometimes you just got to try to connect the dots, and nobody is claiming anything other than opinions here. Absolutely. Look how clear the water is, not toxic. The fish look healthy, and so does ducks and turtles. No doubt. Tanya, Richard uses something called third eye assisted visualization. It's a type of meditation to open up your third eye used for mental clarity, intuition, and imaginative power. Very interesting, Tanya. Thank you for that information. No doubt. Interesting. All opinions welcome. Thank you, everyone. Like, subscribe, and turn on the notifications, please. I'm trying to figure out how to turn on the notifications, and I just haven't figured it out, everybody, where you can see them and they'll stay on. I'm not sure how that goes or how I'm supposed to do that. I'm not a pro at this. I'm just flying by, and trying to put things together. Dee Dee Ways, morning, devil dog. What's the latest? Any news on the detained person? I think they let him go, Dee Dee, to be honest. I think they let him go. I have to be honest, I can't respect that sleuth guy. I refuse to watch his channel anymore. What? Did something happen? What happened, Dee Dee? What happened that made you feel like that? Fill me in or fill us in. I looked up why some lakes can't swim in. They say it's because of human bacteria. That would make sense. Can ruin this lake. Never knew. Wow, interesting. Yeah, fill us in, Dee Dee. If you got a chance, fill us in on why. What's the issue with Sleuth? If you don't mind me asking, my friend. Paige says, "Spread love, not hate." Gronsky, sorry that happened to you, Dee Dee. I didn't. I haven't read anything. Tell me what's up, if you don't mind. Tell us all what's going on. You're always welcome here, my friend. So that was some of the things that were brought up yesterday, and I mean, here's the thing. Here's okay. Let me say this. I don't understand why. Yeah, it's just better. Just forget it. Never mind. Love thy neighbor, says Paige. Bring Nancy home, says Paige. Jane, hi, Dee Dee. What's going on, Dee Dee? Bridget, thanks for the info, Gene. I didn't know that either. Yeah, had no clue. Help one another. Dee Dee, supposedly there was no one detained. There you go. This was reported. I asked questions. I tried to find it. I couldn't honestly find anything. The only thing I was told was that it came from Nancy Grace. That's all I was told. And I looked up her channel and I tried to find anything, but I couldn't. So therefore, I was like, well, I'll take everything with a grain of salt. But the pictures that that Richard Nolet Jr., the person that was coming up the stairs, they did present some pictures and it did look like his brother. No doubt about it. I'm not going to say it didn't because it did. Lisa, help others clean house. Alaska, bring Nancy home. Amen. That was pretty much what was going on. Focus, mediate, and be honest. You know, some of the things too that are interesting is, you know, you got to be careful too with strip mines. Tanya says strip mines. You got to be careful too because there also is a lot of AI generated videos that, like, there was one yesterday that I was listening to that was talking about how they had caught TC and they had him dead to right and yada yada yada. But it was just an AI generated video because none of that really happened, at least to my knowledge. You know what I mean? Gene says, but of course, if someone is there not going to say, you know, all the bigger people have great connections to find out stuff. Amen. No doubt. Peace on earth. Dee Dee says, Paige, I am Christian. I have high morals and ethics. I pray daily and read the Bible often. Amen. Marianne, do you think since they are interviewing R, they said someone got detained? It could be. You know, for a minute there, I thought, because when I looked up Nancy Grace's channel, all I could see was that they had made an arrest on the case in California with the 14-year-old. That's the only thing I could see. So I thought, well, maybe they got that confused. You know, the arrest on David, on David. That's his real name, David. He goes by DV something or the other, but I just know him as David. And yeah, he they. So I was thinking maybe they got confused or something, but that's just me. That's awesome, Paige. That's awesome. Yeah, I don't, you know, some of these things I really, you know, you have to just be careful, no doubt. And when you watch things, because it's happened to me before, you'll watch things and you'll think that stuff is like, oh wow, look at this. They got this guy to write, and then you realize, oh, it was just an AI generated video that somebody put up. Didn't even happen, you know? And that's what's going to happen in the near future with all this AI stuff. You're going to see so many things that you're not going to know what to believe. It's already happened, and it's happening as we speak. Devil Dog info is right there. You got my info, everybody. Bridget says, I know a lot of people love Nancy Grace, but she has been wrong at times. Sorry, I don't have a whole lot of faith. Oh no, I get you. I'm not saying I am a big fan. I just be honest with everybody. I'm not saying I'm a big fan, Bridget. I agree with you 110%. You know, I don't just because she says it doesn't mean that it's legit. No doubt about it. Um, but that's what somebody had emailed me and they said, "Hey, did you hear about this?" And I was like, "Huh?" And so I looked it up, and then I went to her channel, and I didn't see that. But yeah, I'm with you. I get it. I think some people just go a little bit, kind of, I don't know, just maybe stretch a little bit. I don't have any faith in Nancy Grace either, says Jan. Welcome, Jan. Good to have you. Thank you for being here. Yeah, I mean, some of these people, I just feel like it's just their job. They're just, they're reporting, and but it's not actually like you can't always believe that it's factual. Amen, Lisa. Jen says, thank you. You're very welcome. If you are new and you want to subscribe, be a subscriber, be a devil pup. Be a devil pup to devil dog underscore 88. Here we just run a lot of scenarios. We try to take information that we have gained and gotten, and then we just try to process it and see if it makes sense. There is no look. If somebody was already had known who done this, they already been locked up and in jail. Okay, let's just be honest. But that doesn't mean that we can't get information and we can't process it to the point where it is a very probable scenario, right? Not that that person is guilty or innocent, but it is a very probable scenario. Once again, you go back to if it walks like a duck, talks like a duck, quacks like a duck, it's probably a damn duck. Nancy Grace over the years has become a hype man. I don't like it. Yo, I agree. I agree to a certain extent, no doubt. Bridget, I just hear a lot of people out there who automatically think whatever she says is the gospel. Yeah. Well, you found the right channel because I don't I don't subscribe to that. In other words, I don't believe that. I mean, I believe what you're saying. I don't. I'm like you. I don't buy that she's. I've matter of fact, I've seen her make many mistakes. No one's perfect. I get it, but I can tell you right now, I'm just not a big fan. I just not, in all honesty. I'll look at some stuff of hers if someone sends me that direction, but I'm not a big fan. Never have been. For whatever reasons. Just not, and I think it's because a lot of times, once again, I use a lot of my skills in law enforcement. Do I love like the crime story, the crime scene, everything that goes with it? Well, yeah, I lived that. I worked it. I understand it. So for me, it's not just like a punchline or a get line. It's actually trying to process what exactly is happening. You know what I mean? Bridget says, I just hear a lot of people out there who, yeah, no doubt. I'm with you. I'm with you 100%. Bridget, Mary, I agree. It works if you work it, says Paige. Amen. Groundsky, I have found following some of those large YouTube streams gives me no traction. Yeah, I understand that, Groundsky. I understand that. I've asked many questions on a lot of these live streams and got no answers. And, I don't know if it's because you have to donate or not. I don't know. But I have asked a lot of questions. Now, I'll be honest and frank on Jim's live, I have gotten responses and it's been nice. But I have asked questions on these bigger streams, and it's just like, if it's not the narrative of the person, then it's kind of like they don't even respond, So it's like, well, why waste my time, And then I think I have a lot of knowledge to offer as well, so therefore, you know, you know what I mean. It's like I'm not playing second fiddle to anybody. But you're right, Gronsky. Jen, absolute. Good to have you. No, no, absolutely. Sabian says discernment is crucial. in this realm. That is true. That is very true. Marianne, someone's even said it was Carlos that was detained again. Yeah, I did hear that too, Marianne. I did hear that too. Carlos Nathan up and when somebody brought that, I think it was in the live last night of uh of Alex, I believe, said that some he had heard that too, and that he was like, "What, Carlos? When did that come out?" But that's a whole nother animal. Pay says head games suck. Yes, they do. Yeah, I heard that, Marion. Thank you. I'm not a fan neither. No, I feel you. I really do. Melanie, when the FBI released the footage of the mass suspect, they also said that neighbors saw a person scouting around near Nancy's home on January the 11th. That is correct. That is correct. That is correct, Melanie. Bridget, for one thing, I don't like how she jumps to conclusions without proof. That's probably the biggest one, in all honesty, Bridget. That's probably the biggest one right there. And that seems to happen. Once again, you can put things together, you can connect the dots, but you can't. You got to be responsible, especially when you're talking to a big amount of people on a network. Jen says, I never get any answers on the big streams. Yeah, I mean, I think it's, I don't know. I like some streams, not many, not many, but I do like some. I dislike other. I just not that I dislike others. It's that others don't really feed my knowledge, my brain. It doesn't feed what I'm looking for as far as substance. It's more of a it's more of a let's have a conversation, let's talk, let's just have a cup of tea and cookies. It's not about substance. And I'm a man about substance because substance is crucial when you're working in the realm of trying to solve cases or trying to help people see something that you see that maybe they're not seeing. It's all about substance. And a lot of times I hear a lot about the I say this as a lack of words, just a figure of speech, but a lot of talking about this, grabbing ass, talking about doing that, and it's really takes away from the concept of what the hell you're trying to get across here. What is the substance? You got to have the substance. You don't got the substance. I have no. That's why I like Jim because he goes out there. He gives you the substance because he's out there. He's turning boxes. He's turning anything that doesn't grow, he'll turn over if he can to see if there's something underneath. That's why I like Jim. He's about substance, you know, lead by example. That's what I like. I want substance. I don't want just, you know, uh, just a grab ass fucking channel, I guess, is my opinion. Bridget says, you have a lot of firsthand knowledge and experience. I can tell. I just try to give you guys everything that I know because when you're in this type of thing, people just want to know like how can they see it because there obviously wouldn't be in here if they didn't want to know what really happened, right? And so all I want to do is try to piece puzzles that sometimes people may miss because they're not used to piecing certain puzzles together. Gene says, Melanie, in the pic that the man he had a baseball cap onto like the dude that was on the stairs of our camera. Totally agree with that. No doubt. No doubt, Gene. Well said. Nosy Rosie, they only answer if you disagree with their perspective. Yeah, no doubt. Marianne, someone also said that they asked Nanos if someone was arrested in the Nancy Guthrie case, and he gave a one-word answer. Nope. How fitting, right? Hi, Nosy. Good to have you here. Bridget, you have a lot. Thank you so much, Bridget. Appreciate the kind words. Tony, I watched the Nancy Grace thing. Maybe they took it down. Got you. Got you. Probably did because I didn't see it. I couldn't find it. And that person who sent it to me, I mean, it was pretty quick. It was like, and I just happened to be on there looking to see if anybody had said anything to respond. And sure enough, man, there she had. Paige says some trolls have multiple accounts who, when they get out on timeout, they sometimes immediately return under a different name. Go figure. Go figure, Paige. Nosy Rosie says, "Hey, there's Gene. Good morning." April's word. April's. I'm just gonna say April. Hi all. I am new here. Good to have you, April. Thank you so much for being here. Hey, if you like the live, subscribe. It doesn't cost you anything. Click the likes, everybody. Appreciate you being here, April. This channel, as everybody will tell you here, it's all about common sense, man. It's about common sense. We don't accuse anybody. We just try to piece the pieces, and we try to make sense of what we have, and that's what you're supposed to do. But thank you so much for being here. Appreciate you, April. Jen, hi, April. April Warts. That's awesome for both of you being here. Thank you guys so much. Nanos has until the 21st to answer those questions. Yes, he does, for the board. Otherwise, they can remove him. You know, once again, when you lose the trust and the hope of the people that you serve, it's time to go. And I'll be honest, at first I felt sorry for him. But the more I looked at it, I was like, man, all you had to do is give the people a little bit of hope here. And he was given nothing. At least usually a similar, at least it says usually a similar name and a similar comment, right? Welcome, April, says Gene. It's the honor. Let's be honest with each other and ourselves. Amen. Gronsky, show me the beef. No, man, I remember that commercial. The little old lady was like, show me the beef. Gronsky, Gene, we welcome all the new. First, we are channel of free speech. All comments welcome to the respective of others. Amen. No doubt. No doubt. There are some bigger streams I just listen to while I'm mopping the floors or washing dishes just because I like the sound of their voice. They don't really offer much else. No, I understand. I totally get it, John. I totally get it. And I hope that you're getting something out of this live because I tell you what, it seems like every live we have it gets better and better and it just becomes more productive. I'm telling you right now, everybody, we are growing literally leaps and bounds. I can't stress that enough. We are growing leaps and bounds. People want the truth. People want to hear substance. They want to hear facts. I don't want to hear about, all these, things that people talk about, hey, the girls and this and that, or go to this or go to that. Or I don't want to hear none of that garbage. I just want to hear substance. And this channel is about substance, literally. That's just the best way I can put it, best way I can translate it. Marianne, M4R, lately, most of the streamers are just all about the JLR personal life, and I'm not into that. Totally agree with you, Jen. Totally agree. Shirley, I love the streamers too. All of them have different views, but still they have one mission, and that's trying to find the investigate with boots on the ground a missing person and bringing her home to her family. Yes, I agree. I mean, I understand where you're coming from, Shirley. No doubt. Melanie, it's funny. Dee Dee said, you can't see any footage of Nancy coming home. I mean, you can't. You can't, Melanie, you can't see anything. You don't have any footage of Nancy being brought back to her home. You have no footage of her son-in-law leaving after he dropped her off. How is that possible? How is that possible? You got everything before and you got everything during, but you have the perp in the front. You have the perp in the front door. You have cars passing by, but you do not have Nancy being dropped off or the son-in-law leaving after he dropped her off. Makes no sense. None whatsoever. I just that's why in my opinion, it's hard for me to say, oh yeah, he's cleared. You can't be cleared. You can't clear somebody when you can't answer that basic question. Because that basic question is the last person who's seen her alive. Thank you for that, Gene. Anyone who has served, we say thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you. Appreciate you all. Amen. No doubt about it. Thank you for the life of service. No doubt. Sabian, yes, show me the beef really relevant now since most of fast food is it? That's so true. Gene, anyone who has served, we thank them. Amen. Still working on the shirts, everybody. The cups, the shirts. Still working on that. Haven't forgotten. What is so special about JLR confuses me, Barbara says. Barbara says, what is so special about JLR? Confuses me. I don't know. It's like, yeah. Nancy. I love Nancy. All right, Paige. JLR is JLR. Lisa, live and let live, please. Tanya, there's absolutely no info on what door A and T went through, and no data from the garage that is used by them. I totally agree, Tanya. How could they not even tell us what door when literally, how could they not even tell us when Annie and Tommaso came after being advised that their mother didn't show up for church, right? How could they not tell us? Well, yeah, they came in through this door. They came through the front door, and it's important to know because here's the thing: you have to know why they came in through what direction because they could have stepped on evidence. They could have altered a little bit of evidence by accident. So you got to know that. But why wouldn't you tell the people that? I mean, it's so simple. It makes no sense. I still can't get over those coyotes and Annie celebrating a meal that night. Yeah, right? They were loud. They were loud. Wonder what they never showed the footage of the Uber. Has anyone seen it? No, I never seen the footage of the Uber. I did hear that they went ahead and did speak to the Uber driver, and they said everything looked fine. Like, she was in the Uber, everything looked fine. When they went there, he dropped her off, he left. Everything looked normal, is what I heard. Just saying. But I never seen the actual footage. That is no lie. Gronsky, JLR is getting to become lots of drama with the stalker stuff. Yeah, there's a lot of drama there. Melanie, investigators found the utility box damaged. Yes, they did, which her kidnapping was planned using a signal jammer for this kind of mission. Has to have a significant motive, no doubt. I mean, they have to have known how all this stuff operates. They have to have known what they were doing, what they were going to do, why they were doing it. And I said everybody here knows, I've always said it's all literally was in my opinion, in my opinion, it was a kidnapping that went wrong. And now you add all this other stuff to it with Richard, and you're like asking the question, well, was it more than that? You know what I mean? Ah, hang on. God darn it. There it is. Sorry about that, everybody. My bad. Okay, let's see. Jan, no video of Mr. Sione dropping her off. I wonder if Nanos is just holding that back. You know, that's what I've been saying from the beginning. That is why, Jen, I cannot, as a law enforcement investigator, as a law enforcement officer, I cannot go ahead and say he is cleared. The whole family is cleared. That is about the most absurd thing I have ever heard anybody in law enforcement say when you can't even show the last person to see her. The last person to see her, you can't even show when they dropped her off and when they left. That makes no sense. None whatsoever. And you're exactly 100% right, Jen. No doubt. And you're right, Melanie, about the utility box. This was purposely done and staged, no doubt. Gene, Melanie, I agree. I kept saying that nobody checked into that utility box. Brian found it, I believe. Weebles wobbles, but they won't. They don't fall down. Interesting, like that, Lisa. Bridget, a lot of Uber drivers have cameras in cars too. If they have a recording of her in their car, I'd like to see it. No doubt. And you're right, they do. They do have it usually. Um, but you know, they did say they spoke to him. They did I thought, didn't they, that they don't think they identified his name, but they did went ahead. I think they went ahead and they just said that, yeah, that he everything looked fine when he had her in the car and dropped her off at Annie's house. Shirley, my sons get onto me because I am watching streamers from the time I get up to the time I go to bed. Yeah, I find myself literally on this more than I need to be, but hey, it's something that I enjoy because it's something up my alley. That's why I enjoy it. April says thank you, Lisa. I agree. That's awesome, Shirley. Faye says JLR has more followers than all streamers put together. Nelson, I've got a bit of a stick for it, but I can't get past Richard saying his brother has fat hooked right hand and back injury. I think it's him. No doubt, Nelson, and welcome in. No doubt. I agree. The specifics that he gave, we have all seen, right? We have all seen that hand, that picture of that hand. And everybody would say, oh, it's swollen, right? We've all seen his back, and even commentators would say, you know, he kind of looks like he has a something wrong with his back, how he's hunched over. And then this is what Richard says. And you're like, wow. And then the body movements. You're exactly right, my friend. You're exactly right. I agree with that 110%. No doubt. Just trying to catch up, everybody. Give me a second. Even Robert said, where's the beef? Jen says, Lisa pays. My sons are all in their 30s now, so they don't even know what I'm doing to get after me about. Yeah, they're living life, no doubt about it, Jen. Good point, Wilmo. I didn't see it. I'm trying to see what Wilmo, where Wilmo. The utility box was shot full of holes. I doubt that that box was in use. It's very possible. That's a good take, no doubt about it. We must be about the same age. That's from childhood toy commercials. I had lots of Weebles. There's enough hate in the world, no doubt. No doubt. For everybody, if you like the live and you are new, please subscribe to the channel if you like what you're hearing. Be a part, be a devil pup. Be a devil pup to the devil dog underscore 88 channel. Also, his leg walks weird. No doubt about it, April. His movements were so in line with the perp in the front of Nancy's house. Jen says, I don't believe for 1 minute that Richard's story. I researched Richard Nolet Jr., which led me to another guy that also looks even more like Porch Guy and has a record of burglary and violence. Very possible. Very possible, Jen. No doubt. It's very possible. There's a lot of people that seem to fit that mold out there. April, also his leg, he walks weird. Gene, apparently the hood wasn't concerned about that. Radiance, I believe Richard because Richard believes. Well said. Margie, listen to Criminal Network from last night. I can't put all information. It was too long. Abandoned plateless SUV found same night as kidnapping. Yeah, I mean, sometimes you'll find these things, and yeah, yeah, I understand that, Margie. No doubt. I am building a folder on the ex convict that researching Richard Nolet Jr. led me to. He even has a history of leaving the back doors open during burglaries. Wow, that's very interesting, Jen. When you put that stuff together, if you don't mind, share it with us. Love to hear it, my friend. Shirley, I like JLR. He is honest about his past life, but the guy has come a long way, and that to me says a lot. People can change directions, and that's what counts. Amen, Shirley. Well said. Well said. Wilmo, the box was pretty far from Nancy's house. How would they know which wires went to what homes? Unless they were a part of the electrician guy. Yeah, I get you, Wilmo. Good point. Nelson saw SI's new post showing a visitor to Richard's place. And again, I thought that said injuries fitted the guy. Amen. Yeah, I watched that too. I totally agree with that, Nelson. Totally agree. Let there remain safe space. Please, devil dogs, we love you. Absolutely. No doubt about it, everybody. You all have a right to your opinions, no doubt. That's what this channel's about. Sabian, if you look at Richard's info, B7T, remember the video came out before his testimony. You have to be wary. If it came before video release, then I would say maybe he's telling the truth. True. Good point. Good point. In 22, I guess that's when they had all the break in. out there in that neighborhood. So I found it interesting. A lot of those folks said they left their doors open, right? Right? I mean, if you know this is going on, why would you leave your doors open? But even Nancy's family said she at times would forget, or she would, leave her doors open, or open the back door to get a breeze or the screen or whatnot. Crazy, no doubt. Jody's in the house. Hi, new here. Almost didn't click. I was worried it might be one of those ridiculous AI channels. You're real, so I sub. Thank you so much, Jody. We appreciate it. We glad you are here. Feel free to just go ahead and voice your opinions. No doubt. Thank you. Remember, everybody, click that like button. Click that like. This is all about common sense, everybody. It's all about common sense. Thank you so much, Nelson. Nelson just subbed as well. Thank you, my friend. Appreciate you. Like I said, leave your comments, everybody. That's how we learn. That's how we get more ideas of thinking of outside the box. I know. I totally get it, Paige. Paige says it's extremely hard to change. I understand. Jen, when I'm finished researching, I need to make sure everything lines up because it's absolutely a big accusation. I'll share with you and turn it over to the FBI. Awesome. That is awesome, Jen. Thank you so much. Hey, I always said when you do things for the right reasons, good things happen. When you do good things for the right reasons, there's always you are going to be blessed and good things happen your way. So for whatever that's worth, you keep working at it. And hey, we're all behind you, Jen. Appreciate you. Lisa, it's extremely hard to admit fault, no doubt. SUV point 0.9 miles. Margie says SUV point 0.9 miles from Nancy, and also screaming woman now saying is connected. I mean, you all know where I stand on that. Hey, I still want to know. You guys know where I stand. I'm not even going to reiterate it. If you want to know, I'll tell you again. But you guys know where I stand. Thank you, Jody. You are welcome in. I agree with you. I guess the best thing to say, Margie, is I totally agree with you. I know exactly where you're going, and I agree 110%. If there was an extra 10%, no doubt. Paige, we can't change until we admit our faults. Yes, that is true. I know from experience. Oh, wow, Margie. Yes, no doubt. Paige, experience matters. It always matters. Experience is crucial, especially when you're trying to make sense of things in life. And in this case, a lot of these cases, right? Experience does matter. You got to have some type of knowledge and experience in what you're talking about. That just goes without saying. Don't preach at me, show me. Gene, for those of you that are new, we are a channel of free speech. All comments are welcome with respect of others. Amen. No doubt about that. Paige says, show me. Wilmo, if you feel the need to have reinforced doors, then locking them shouldn't be a second thought. That's so true, Wilmo. So true. No doubt about it. Very true. Hi, Margie, and wow, no kidding. Lisa Page, do as I say, not as I do. Gronsky, every day we grow inside, which can take us to a higher place. Well said. Well said. Please, prayers. You got it, Paige. Bridget, you will never see any of my doors open and not locked when I'm asleep. That's for sure. That is for sure. No doubt. Hey, I worked in this law enforcement, and I'm telling you right now, I don't even keep my doors unlocked. You know what I'm saying? I guess it's because I know what's out there. We all know what's out there. Sometimes we just tend to forget. But yeah, my doors don't stay out loud. April, I subbed. Also, thank you, April. Appreciate having you. Thank you so much. God bless. Welcome to this Devil Dog _88. You are now a devil pup. A devil pup. Our devil pups are growing like nobody else's business. We are growing, guys. I'm telling you, this channel is taking off. And hey, it's all because of you all. You guys are making it happen. You guys are reaching out to your followers, your friends, your streamers, and other people. No one is ever going to like anything just perfect. But I'm telling you, if you want common sense, this is a place to get your common sense. Put your common sense hat on, because that's what we do. That's what we do. And if anybody wants to ask a question, you're more than welcome to email me. There it is. You can contact him about questions or info about the case. Raw, Semper Fi. Right there it is. This is my info. If you guys got something comes up, or you want to know something, or you disagree with something, or anything, just shoot me an email. I usually look at it to see if anybody has something. Paige, you don't know everything. I have a difficult believing Richard seems like he was severe mental issues. I pray for his mental health. Seriously, he could suffer from multiple. That is very true, Jody. Very true. The person that sent info to criminal network doesn't give his name. Paige says learning is freedom of strength and hope. Jody says, I have a hard time believing Richard. It seems like he has severe mental issues. I pray for his mental health. Seriously, he could suffer from very well could be right, Jody. Very well. Very well could be right. Lisa says, you don't know everything. I want to know I am new. Awesome. Appreciate you, April. Thank you. Gene, Dee Dee's info. Gene, you can contact him. Melanie, when FBI searched Nancy's home February 10th to 13th, they said the footage bell camera was retrieved from the Google residual data, therefore also retrieved the backup logs. Deleted data, right. And so how can a lot of these things that we would expect to see in a case, how can we see a lot of these things just like not be shown to us, dissipate in front of us? You have the cameras, you have the footage, you were able to bring up the stuff that was deleted. Why are we not able to see those integral parts that we need to see? Think about that. It's just common sense, everybody. Well stated, Melanie. Thank you. Nosy Rosie, I tend to be suspicious of criminal network motives lately. Nothing wrong with your opinion there, Nosy Rosie. Alaska, I love my doors open for a breeze, but can't imagine going to sleep with them open unless my grand dog Saint Bernard is here. Yeah, I just can't see it, Alaska. That's to me that's just inviting a temptation, in my opinion. Don't you think, everybody? I looked Richard up, and the only thing I came up with were traffic tickets. What else do you use, Jen? What else do you use, Jen? Says Tanya. Jody, exactly. Unlike Nano, who brings out rookie homicide detectives to the scene. No doubt, Jody. That is 100% correct. I mean, that's what they're saying. They're saying their experience level is anywhere from 2 to 4 years experience. And that's very low for a sheriff's department, just so you'll understand that. A sheriff's department, that is very low. You know, goes without saying. Nosy Rosie, I do as well. Gene, where are some of you all from? Me, Illinois. I am from Northwest Ohio, everybody. Let us know where you're all from if you don't mind. Kind of see where everybody's at. Lisa, I heard from alcoholics and addicts in recovery. Nelson, you are a fantastic host, Dee Dee. Thank you so much, Nelson. I really do appreciate you. Thank you. Appreciate those kind words from all of you. But thank you so much, Nelson. Margie, because you are so honest. Thank you, Margie. I appreciate you. I appreciate you. Don't get me wrong. I have my faults too, but yeah. Yep. I appreciate the kind words. No doubt. Paige says, from their experience, April, much respect. My husband was a Marine. Arr, Semper Fi. April, you tell your husband thank you for his service. Amen. Just saying. Marines, they have a bond like nobody's business, literally. Trying to catch where I was at here. My husband was a Marine, and he's always going to be a Marine, no doubt. Amen. Alaska, North Idaho. Good to have you, Alaska. Lisa, they never preach at me, never. Awesome. That is awesome. Bridge says, Alaska bound. I understand. Ooh, raw. Gene says, wow, Shirley. Lisa, they helped me. That's awesome. I'm very awesome, Lisa. Gene, in from northern Idaho, born and raised. Good to have you, Jen. Good to have you from Idaho. Lisa, I am proud, very grateful. Attitude of gratitude. Ooh, raw, simplify. Appreciate that. Postmodern. Is multiple personalities disorder a real thing? Yes, it is. Yes, it's a real thing. Absolutely. No doubt about it. Radiance. I found Richard very believable. I just looked at the facts. I looked at I looked at his comments and I looked at what he was saying. And it just, for me, if I was interviewing him, I didn't see any, I mean, I didn't see any deceive, like trying to deceive. I seen a lot of scared in him. I seen a lot of I don't know. I don't know what it is. I just think that and I'm not saying everything he said was legit. Don't misunderstand me, because you got to validate it to be legit. I just think he had nothing to gain and everything to lose. And you say, what did he have to lose? His claim of fame of having somebody to talk to on live. You know, that's what he had to lose. His gain was really nothing to gain other than maybe the reward. You know what I mean? Margie, at Jen, it was emailed to Alex. Lisa, it is what it is. Sabian, Texas. Used to work in Texas. Know all about it. Well, know a lot about it. Great to have you, Sabian. Gene, I agree, Bridget. Whiskey's in the house. Whiskey River from PA. Good to have you, Whiskey. I don't play, says Paige. Groundsky, Western New York. There we go. We got a New Yorker in the house. Jen, oh, sorry, I missed your post until we just read out loud. Old newspapers, criminal records, And in this situation, U.S. Marshal Records as well. That is awesome. Keep us up to speed, Jen, please. Appreciate you. Bridget Clark says, thank you, Gene. What are your thoughts about any of this? Of what? What exactly are you asking, Margie? What are your thoughts about any of this? Of the case? Of Nancy's case? Well, once a Marine, always a Marine. That is a fact. Postmodern, Bridget Clark, because they didn't have a subscription, so the recordings weren't properly stored. Google technicians managed to painstakingly reverse and engineer some of the data that the cam. That is correct. Gene, high post. Sabian, my husband was a Marine in Vietnam. He passed now, though, and I miss him. Sabian, thank you so much for your husband's service. Much thank you as well. He is guarding the pearly gates. Make no mistake. That's what Marines do. Amen. He was never be forgotten. I can tell you that. Oh my God. Cherie Marion from South Africa just found your channel. Hello, hello. Good to have you, Cherie. Good to have you. Thank you for being here. If you are new, don't forget to like and subscribe to our YouTube channel. It is free, doesn't cost you anything, just lets you be a part of a growing channel that all is about common sense. That's awesome, Sabian. So glad you love it here. We love having you here, no doubt. Nelson, all bless. Gene, Devil Dog is former law enforcement as well as a former Marine. Amen. Paige, thank you for loving me. You got it, my friend. Nosy Rosie, I agree, Wilmo. Only the jury has the right to know all the evidence. The people are requesting to know. That's true. The big things you're never going to hear, everybody. The big things that you're looking for, the golden nugget, the big goose egg, the golden goose egg that you're looking for when it comes to literally knowing, who did it, right? They're not going to tell you. FBI is not going to tell you. People County Sheriff's not going to tell you. People can make their comments and assessments, and witnesses can come forward and give their claim, like in this case, Richard. But law enforcement is not going to give you, in all honesty, what we are looking for. You know why? Because it's an integral part of the case. They can't. I mean, they could give you some small stuff that will soothe the soul so you can feel like at least they're doing something, at least they're following leads. Like right now, if they sent divers to Rose Canyon Lake and they sent divers over there, everybody would be ecstatic. Why? Because the cops, the Pima County Sheriffs, the FBI, they're doing something. You would love it, right? They could give you that. Yeah, we went ahead and we searched. We went out here. We had, 3, 4 divers out there, and we found nothing, or we found something. Everybody would love it. That's all they have to give you is those small things to show that they are interested in what's happened. But when you go ahead and think you're going to get the big nugget, you're only going to get that when it's breaking news. FBI just arrested an individual for the kidnapping of Nancy Guthrie. That's what you're going to wait for, because that's the only time you're going to hear those big nuggets. Right now, we're just trying to surmise everything and put everything together because we don't know those things. And truth be told, they may not even know those things. In all honesty and fairness, that's how it works in law enforcement. Just wanted to throw that in there for whatever it's worth. Gronsky says, Sabian, sorry for your loss, you are hanging with a great crowd. Amen. No doubt about it. Lisa, Wheezy Mountain. Sebastian, thank you, Jen. Wheezy, WNC, Appalachian Mountains. Ooh, raw. Melanie, whoever 404 the data thought he totally deleted the data from internet, but 404 does not actually delete and moves all the data to a different URL, which is a major mistake by the kidnapper. No doubt. No doubt. That's literally above my pay grade, but you're right, Melanie. Sebastian, thank you, Wilmo. Jen, Shirley, welcome. I just found this channel today as well. That is awesome, everybody. Appreciate all of you. Paige said, I thought I knew everything, but now I have to learn a new way of thinking. Amen. Wheezy Mountain. Welcome, welcome, everybody. That is awesome. We love all our new subscribers. Well said, Gene. No doubt. We will be doing shirts and cups and hats and all these type of things. And just to give an idea, you're probably going to have the devil pup in the middle, and in the top it's going to say something like tenacious investigations. And that's just because in the Marine Corps world, the devil dog, when they gave that name to the Marines, the Germans did in World War One, when they gave that name at Belleau Woods, they said the Marines fought with tenacity. They were like wild dogs. And they labeled the devil dog, they were like fighting like devil dogs. And that's where it stuck. So that's why that is our name, our brand. And that is why tenacious investigations, tenacious investigations with our devil pup emblem in the middle. Just thought I'd clear that up for you all. That's what we're looking at. Just want to let you all know. Richard's confession. Make sure I don't forget anybody. That is true, Paige. Not everyone will like everyone. Shirley says Richard's confession. Look at a lot of took a lot of guts. Took a lot of guts, courage. Got to give that guy some credit. He may have opened up a whole new perspective in the way they fight crime now. He was nervous of all the viewers. No doubt. No doubt he was. You're exactly right. Go where the love is, says Paige. Sabian with the heart. Thank you. Gene, you can reach DD. There is the address. Take it down, everybody. Save it to your phone or to your laptop or whatnot. When you got a question, go ahead. And it's off the stream time when we're not streaming, go ahead and just shoot the email. No worries. Lisa, get in when you fit in, no doubt. Alaska, much love and respect. Nelson, Shirley, absolutely agree with you. Bring Nancy home, says Paige. Humanity. Gene, hit like and subscribe and enjoy new folks on here. Amen. Tanya, much love and respect. Shirley, salute intuitions, listen to him. Never once doubted Richard's credibility. I commend Sleuth in the way he handled it, and such patience. No doubt about it, Shirley. Sleuth did amazing. Sleuth did amazing. That's why I follow Sleuth. That's why I watch him. Good. There's a few other ones out there that I really do follow and watch because they do good work. Okay. And even though they have never been in law enforcement, to my knowledge, they do exceptional work. And I love it. And kudos for them for doing it. Gronsky, I remember doing grand jury for 3 months in 2013, every other week. Wow. Nelson, that brother is on the run looking refuge if he's is the perp. Thought against knocking Richard's door because of the door cam. No doubt about it, Nelson. You're right on. That's my take anyway. That's my opinion. Gene Gronsky, I never done any jury, but it's interesting. Lisa, I don't insult people, then ignore it when asked. Paid, and I'm praying for you. Nelson, who I'll grab. Oh, I'll grab a shirt. Soon as we get them all printed out, Nelson, we will be having them for everybody. No doubt. No doubt. This thing is growing so fast, this channel, that, man, it's like trying to find time is so difficult, but I'll go ahead and get it done. No doubt. Lisa says, practice what you preach. An important part of abandoning SUV, Hispanic scene getting out, smoking cig, caught on ring camera. That's interesting, Margie. That is interesting. Oh, right, right. I just got a message from Olive Baby or Olive Berry. She said that, yes, that he also stated that the mom was involved in this too, in all this crime stuff. No doubt. Thank you for that message. Just showed up on my screen. I knew what a double dog is, said Jan. Well, thank you. Appreciate that. I just wanted to go ahead and explain it for the ones who didn't. But oh, raw, simplify. Where was this Margie, says Jean. Gronsky, most every item was passed to move forward with DA. Margie, male approximately 5'9". April, what is your opinion on the hair that was found? Do you think it will break the case? Maybe. April, I think it would have been a lot easier if that hair was from the root, because the root is what carries all the information. And yes, if they had that root was a part of that hair, the root, they would be able to get a lot. And I mean, this thing would be like, if it literally, if it was able to eliminate people that weren't living there, I think that would be a game changer big time. But I think it's only going to be a follicle, piece of a hair. And they still can do a lot. It's just going to take a lot of time because they have to do a lot more work with that. But they do have the tools to be able to now go ahead and just take that hair follicle. But if it had the root on it, oh, it'd be a game changer. Absolutely. And yes, do I think that if it's a perp's hair, yes, they're going to be able to pull it up. They're going to be able to identify the people that were in the house that it didn't belong to, right? And then the people, let's say they eliminate all the people that were there, whoever's not there, that's who this thing's going to be identified to. So that remains to be seen, but it will take a while. I'm guessing it's going to take, in all honesty, maybe anywhere from 3 to 6 months. It could even be a little longer than that, in all honesty. It's a very tedious process. Jen says, I hang out on Sleuth's channel as well as Mark's. Awesome. I love Mark. I love Mark and Sleuth for that matter. Love them both. They do great work. Sleuth has really a way of presenting things, and Mark's personality is awesome, in my opinion. Mom was 17. Lisa Page, 10/29/67. My dad, grandpa, and many uncles and cousins in the military, but I enjoy how you speak about the case. Thank you so much, Alaska. I appreciate you. Thank you so much. And tell them all thank you for their service as well. Amen. I come from a big line of family that also has been a brother in the Marines, three in the Army, two nephews in the Marines, three nephews in the Army, one nephew in the Navy. Yeah, big family. We're all about literally freedom isn't free. Sometimes you have to fight for that freedom. No doubt about it. Well, Mo, I could only watch a little bit of the interview. It was pretty clear that this guy has issue. Oh, no doubt about it, Wilmo. No doubt about it. Pays red, white, and blue hearts. Pays the military, the helmet. Hoorah. Is that a little frog? 62 viewers. You guys are amazing. No doubt about it. Sabian great grandfather liberated the camps in Germany to saw horrific stuff. Oh, I can only imagine. It would have been great to have a conversation. Great to have a conversation with your grandfather. No doubt about it, Sabian. That is so awesome. My father-in-law was a Marine, is a Marine, but he passed away, but he was in Vietnam and yes, so much history. I just love hearing it. Love hearing it. Jody, Jim, Exploring with Jim is back with a new bike to do more searching. Awesome. I can't wait. Lisa Page, much love. Addict to searching, no doubt. Margie, yes. Smiling, hello, everyone. Good to have you here, Smiling. Thank you for being here. Appreciate you. Lisa Page, in it to win it, no doubt. I love when he says that. We're in it to win it. It's a very catchy phrase. Today's the day, says Paige. She says, hi, smiling. Alaska says, yes, addict to searching, no doubt. It's got to be in the blood, no doubt. Jean, hello, Alex. Lisa, smiling. Hi, Jean. Hoorah. Oh, wow. Sabian, yes, that had to be horrific. Shirley, yes. Addicted to searching the Lisa Page 67. Hoorah. Coming in late. Sorry. No worries. No worries, Smiling. No worries. Just as long as you're here, that's all that matters, my friend. Sabian, welcome, Smiling. Margie, the original Ring camera they checked out on the hill across from Nancy's back entrance. Very interesting. Paige, if you play, you pay. Paige, Richard plays. Margie, my grandson is in the Air Force. Margie, tell your grandson thank you for his service as well. Jean, I think the hair was gotten when the police were there the other day. There's question as to when. Yeah, that's my concern. That's my only concern, Jean, is that. And that's a good point. Is when did they actually get this hair? I mean, did they get it here recently? And if so, how many people has been in that house? Well, we know a lot of people's been in that house, in and out, right? We've seen a lot of people. We've seen Tommaso in there. We've seen Annie in there. We've seen Savannah in there. We've seen Cameron in there. We've seen FBI agents in there. We've seen prosecutors in there. We've seen a lot of people in there. People working on the houses or in the house. There's been a lot of people there. So that's going to be the interesting part. But it's going to take a while. What did the anonymous email read, if you don't mind sharing, anonymous? Let me see. Let me see. Welcome, smiling. And can you put I think the hair was gotten when the police Bridget. I'm hearing it wasn't not hair, which makes it hard to extract DNA from, but they say it's possible. No, it is it's actually the root of the hair. That's where it has all your DNA. It used to be that if it was just a cut piece of cut hair, that one wasn't really going to do anything. But the root is where you get all the information. Okay. Watch that hair be from law enforcement. Watch that hair be from law enforcement since they were so sloppy. Very possible. That's my fear. What did the anonymous email read? If you don't mind sharing, email. Fill me in a little bit more, Janet. Sebastian Sabian. That's exactly what I'm expecting. Sabian, yep. Bridget, they also say that retrieved a clipping of her sheet that may contain DNA. Awesome. Melanie says, which she owned the paper copy, which is the reason they had to enter the home to retrieve it, hence the 40 minutes he stayed before leaving with Nancy. Interesting. Gene, supposedly, according to R, there's going to be something going on during the 4th of July. Yes, he did say that. Smiling, my father was in the Army, served in the Korean War. Smiling, thank you so much for your father's service. If he is still alive, make sure he knows. Thank you for his service. Sabian, my great grandmother let me read the letters from him to her and a few pictures. That's awesome, Sabian. That's awesome. Interesting, Melanie. How Smiley, wow, Smiley, that war was bad too. Amen. It was. No doubt about it. It's interesting all the ways everyone thinks the perp got into and left the house, right? Very interesting, no doubt. Gronsky, I had to charge up my Google Nest Cam yesterday and it took 19 hours to charge. Ouch. It's a long time. And they have the front doormat. And they leave the front doormat, right? No doubt, Jody. Jim's new bike's name is Nancy. Awesome. That's awesome. Wow, Gronsky, I wonder if that had something to do with her camera. Who charged it? Hers. Very interesting, Gene. I have ARLO cameras. Love them. Free storage. And it's clear as day at night. April says, at Lisa loved Jim, so kind and humble. Yes, no doubt. Margie mentioned that Alex Criminal Network received an anonymous. Oh, yeah. I'm sorry. Yeah. I was trying to think of who you were asking that. Yes, Margie, you had said earlier that Alex Criminal Minds received an anonymous email. Jen is asking, I wonder that if it was regarding and what it states. I don't follow Alex. Gene, my cameras take expensive batteries but great quality. Lisa, Jim is lovable. Melanie, Savannah's investigation journalism and also is a lawyer when she plead and was interviewed. Her words are very calculated. Oh wow, Jen, I didn't hear that. I love dogs, says Paige. Hoorah. Sabian. I like getting feelings. I like getting feelings of she never made it home and everything else was planned ahead to be. I mean, sometimes, that's what it looks like because we don't have him showing up or leaving. I mean, what else are you supposed to guess, right? Just makes no sense. Jen, I wonder what the email was regarding that should have read sorry. Interesting. Very interesting. Smiling. Sadly, my father is no longer with us. He died in the middle of my senior year in high school. I was 17, he was 51. Well, thank you so much, Smiling, for his service. No doubt about it. Devil Dog is lovable too. Thank you so much. Appreciate you, Paige. Sabian, sorry for your loss, Molly. Jean, 7803. I think she left now too. Now I have to go looking for it, I guess. Well, she'll be back. She'll come back, and when she does, we'll get that information for you, Jen. If you want, you can send me that information you're requesting. Send me an email, and then I can go ahead and see if I can get a hold of her and be able to send it back to you if you like. It's up to you. Gene, I know Nancy didn't move the pot for the back door. The shapes the shape she was in, no doubt, no doubt. April, Lisa, he reminds me of Mark. I love him too. Thank you, April. Appreciate you. Lisa, we all lovable. Amen. No doubt, everybody. Melanie, the one she said it's valuable to us was weird to say about her mother. I doubt it was about her mother, but rather those papers. That's interesting, Melanie. If that's what you is that what you were waiting for, Jen? Lisa, everyone is lovable. Sabian, I have a problem with Savannah reading a script. I'm sorry, I wouldn't read any script. No doubt. That's you would like to think it's coming from the heart. You would like to think that, it's all right there in the heart. But yeah, no doubt. I can understand that. CR, didn't her pacemaker read at the house? It did. Her pacemaker thought it was her watch and something else. But that could have left behind, right? That could have just all been left behind. I mean, I'm not saying it was. I'm just throwing out that possibility. But good question there, CR. No doubt. Gene, sometimes I don't like what S said was she said, no one's gonna shake my faith. And then the next day, Easter came out with what she said. Doesn't make sense. Kind of contradictory. I get it, no doubt. I'm missing Tanya, aka Tanya. April, it was probably Sue Ellen sent the email. She doesn't like Alex at all, no doubt, right, April? That's funny. My personality and Alex's personality do not mix well. I can understand that. No doubt about it, Jen. So I was hopeful that Margie would just share what she learned from the anonymous email to him. If I get it, I will go ahead and shoot her an email if you like. No worries. I will do that. I will do that if we're able to, or if somebody's able to. That'd be great as well. Margie, you got it. You're welcome, Jen. No problem. Gene, hi CR. I heard that too, or something to that. I think it was noise they kept hearing. I like some streamers more than others, no doubt. Gene, DD's info. There's my info if you need it. Take it down, everybody. So if you got a question, you can shoot it to me. I will see it and I will respond as soon as possible. Sabian, pacemaker disconnected from app, not device, I believe. Okay, got you. Smiling, Sleuth said Richard is done giving him interviews. Wow. Well, that's probably because the FBI or the investigators told them not to talk no more to um, streamers, or not to go online and talk. I believe I heard that somewhere where they told them not to talk anymore to the streamers or whatnot. Thank you, Gene, says Jan. Lisa, 100%. Jan, I wonder what he meant by it, smiling. If he's done, Sleuth's getting them, or he can't now because of the police. I think it has a lot to do, if my opinion would be, it has a lot to do with the police telling him not to go back on there. And basically not until they talk or whatever, So that could be very, very important, no doubt. There's mixed information pertaining to the operation of pacemaker. There is, I mean, there's so many different takes, how pacemakers really work, not just hers. Yeah, there's so many different types. Melanie, when Savannah needs a script, it has a purpose. Words are powerful. When feelings are overwhelming, the words become impulsive and could make the kidnapper give him info about investigating and more. True. Very true. That's very true. Please explain it in simple details. Gronsky, I am stuck on my feelings about the Guthrie family. Just does not ring true. No, I understand that. There's a lot of different feelings about the Guthrie family, no doubt. Seems like everybody has something different, a different take. I don't think she wore a watch after she got the pacemaker. Apple says not to get near a pacemaker with. Okay, well, that would make sense. That would make sense. I did not know that. Thank you, Sabian. Appreciate that info. I did not know that. Lisa, not her pacemaker. All pacemakers. Exactly how does Bluetooth and Wi Fi coordinate with the pacemaker precisely? Come on, man. Jeannie, yes, that's why I didn't like typing message. Melanie, sometimes things can get misconstrued because you can't tell the tone, right? No doubt. Google is someone, lol. It can't be this controversial. Yay. Gene, Lisa, I'm not sure on pacemakers. I wish I could and would have asked more questions about my father's in law. I know he had to have it hooked up to a phone separate from one you use all the time. Not an acceptable answer. Oh, Lordy. Lisa says, vague information. Jen, too much to type. I'm sorry. Oh, understandable, no doubt. Remember, hit like and subscribe, everybody. If you are following and you are not a subscriber, click that subscribe for free. It doesn't cost you anything. Get in as the channel is growing. I'm telling you, we are growing leaps and bounds. It's kind of makes me a little, like, wow, like, yeah, this thing is growing and growing faster than I anticipated. But I guess that's what you say when you say you want substance, you want truth, you want something that is tangible, you want something that makes sense, you want something that's all about details and information, right? I'm not one who really cares a lot. I mean, we talk a lot about different theories and ideas, but I really like being able to try to read between the weeds, you know what I mean? Trying to figure this stuff out and then sharing it with you guys and see what you all think. We are only told when it's disconnected from app, not when it stopped totally. Hey, dog, next time you go to the doc, can you ask them how they work when I go? Yes, I will. I'll be going here in a little bit, like a little bit. When I say a little bit, it can be about a week or two from now to the VA. I'll ask them, see what they tell me. But it's weird because I've heard professional on other live streamers, other your like your Nancy Guthrie's and your Ashley Banfields and etc. I've heard them have people on who were experts at the cardiology, and they were experts of the heart and how it works, and they were asking them, and even they had different takes and different answers. So it's like, really, like, how could you guys not be on the same sheet? It's just crazy and baffling. I will pass your channel to other groups. I think they will appreciate you. Thank you so much, April. I appreciate you, and thank you everybody for that. We're only as good as all of you. Remember that. It's like I always say, we're only as good as all of you. We only grow because of you. I'm just a mouthpiece giving you what I can, but you guys are the ones that really do your homework and read and look and watch other lives and get information. And that says a lot about you. So thank you all as well. Pacemakers work through Bluetooth. It has to be paired with a device like Nancy's phone. The settings on the phone will search the pacemaker code number, then it can be paired as long as it stays within range. That is correct. That makes sense. Tennessee Girl is back. Good to have you, Tennessee Girl. Jean, thank you. April, we appreciate it. Amen. No doubt. I want to be able to state how I feel, not all just the nuts and bolts. You got it, Groundsby. You got it. We need an expert on pacemakers. Gene, yes, I agree, Marianne. And so much of it can be involved with the case, a lot of matches. Song, why wasn't there a notification sent out to the family from EMTs when her pacemaker stopped? There's so many questions I have about that song. No doubt. Like even the ring cam, even her pacemaker. You think somebody would have been able to put their numbers in there as a contact in case they heard something, then they could call their mom and say, "Hey, mom, are you okay? The cam ring, it sounded off, or it said somebody was outside. Everything good? Anything." But there's so many things that weren't done. And I get what you're saying. You're talking about the EMTs and the pacemaker, and I'm talking about all that seems to go together. Why wasn't like this set up as well to the family members, his phones, and maybe their devices? There's a lot of down to earth, common sense people in the chat. I like that. Common sense means a lot. It's how I roll, Bridget. It's how I roll. Common sense is everything. You can solve most all your problems with common sense. Add a little bit of knowledge, and my God, you're on your way. No doubt about it. Hi, song. Helicopter look for pacemaker. Yes, it did. Apple Watch have magnets which will stop pulse pacemakers, according to Apple, says Sabian. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Great information. Dog, did you ever have a complicated case like this? I've had a case dealing with a couple individuals trying to unalive two older gentlemen who, for all rights, were twins, but they were older. Not old, but when I say older, at the time, they were probably in their, I don't know, I don't want to need to say that because then everybody will say, "Why you say that? That's old." It's just back at the day. Back in the day, they were about 50, mid 50s, and that was a little complicated. These people ended up trying to slay them. It was a really horrible scene, blood wise, but they survived. But the perps ended up taking off to Canada, got caught in Canada, and then they extradited them back. So that was difficult. There's been a lot of cases that we have dealt with that really uh, a little nerving and unracking. You know, SA SA to an elderly woman, probably 85 years of age, if not a little higher, all for a few $5 in change in her little pocket purse. We ended up catching the individual, but just the idea that how you have to explain to a 60 55 60-year old son that his 85 70 90-year-old mother had just gone through this, right? It's just very and there's been a lot. I've told many different things. I've had literally a young, what was she, about 14 years old, about 14 years old, 15 years old, drowning victim, literally try to revive her, uh, you know, brought her up from the, this was in Oklahoma, brought her up from the those what do you call those big metal concrete things that go across like a river, and people, they don't really walk on them because they're really slippery with the algae. And this girl, poor girl, tried to do that, and she fell in the water, hit her head against the concrete, and the current just kept keeping her there. And I got the call, and this was early in my career, and I had to jump in the water, bring her up. There's a lot of people around there, a lot of people, and having to do mouth to mouth for the first time in my life, and having to literally, like, she got revived. I was able to revive her back, and then they meta-flighted her to Wichita, and then later I got the call that she ended up passing. So there's been a lot that I have gone through, and I will tell you this, you know like I said, I do what I can. I'm very happy. If I die tomorrow, as I always tell my wife, if I die tomorrow, I lived a good life. Okay, I have done a lot of things in my life, from engineer work in the oil fields to law enforcement to the military. Hey, I'm a go getter. I go after what I need to go after, you know, and so that's it. But yeah, I had a lot of things happen in my course of my life, and in law enforcement. So, and I'm sure there's many more. I just, some things you try to block out, some things you don't want to think about, but nevertheless, it's all good. But thank you for that question. I appreciate that. I really do. Thank you so much. Thank you, Gene. Appreciate you. Lisa, yay. Melanie rocks. A song heart. When my friend's pacemaker skips a beat, Miss Doctor calls her almost immediately. And that's how it should be, you would think. Right, Soreen. Melanie, the phone takes in the pacemaker signal, heart rate, then it's sent to the doctor. It keeps an eye on the heart. A doctor receives a peak connections, can be taken faster. Common sense, everybody, absolutely. It only sends info of an incident via email to the doctor's office, so they have stated. Teamwork, no doubt. Don't bite the hand that feeds you. Amen. Melanie, the helicopter is equipped with a signal sniffer. And I'm confused about Annie's camera. Did she get them after Nancy went missing? A 911 scanner call? An 857 had a break in after Annie's reported off her camera. That was that. I do remember that. I do remember that, April, that there was someone tried to break into Annie and Tommaso's home. This was after Nancy was taken. So yes, I did hear about that. Absolutely. On another note, I wonder if the hair could be an animal's easily traceable to a pet. In my opinion, it's very possible, CR, no doubt. It's very possible. It's very possible that it could come back to an animal. Gene says, now we get it, dog. Yeah, I'm all about information. I'm all about, you know, and that's just my police work. That has nothing to do with what I've seen in the military. So it is what it is. It is what it is. But thank you so much. Appreciate that question. Lisa, my main question, I guess, is does it keep reporting back to the cardiologist data back until a bank until it stops working on Bluetooth? True, CR. She had a dog. I mean, it very well could possibly be that. She did well. She had a dog a while back, so that dog has been, I think, buried, right? Or did she have another one? Did she have another black little dog, or was that the one that passed? Savannah's dog, or I don't know. Too many dogs going around. It's a simple, legitimate question, no doubt. Oh, I agree. I agree. Jane, Lisa, they claim just because the person is unalive, it keeps going. Yeah, I did hear that. I thought that was really interesting information there because I heard the same thing. In other words, at what point does the doctor stop receiving data from a pacemaker? Yeah, that's a good question, Paige. That's a real good question. So why doesn't doctor know if her heart is beating? Yeah, once again, yeah, I don't know, but that's a good questions, no doubt. Gene, I'm guessing yes, it does, Lisa, since it reads the heart, the mechanism itself. Sabian, when the app can't receive info, but pacemaker keeps working until battery dies. That's why they were talking about getting the sniffers out there all over because the battery would still be alive. So therefore they should still be able to get a signal. Then I've heard some these professionals on it say, well, no, once the person becomes unalive, even though the thing's on, it's not registering anything, so there's no signal. It just really depends on who you're who you're asking at that moment, I guess. Jen says, okay, you guys, I've got a few things I need to do, so I'm going to do it. It's been really nice meeting all of you. I'll see you next time. You got it, Jen. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you for being a part of the channel. And most of all, I will get with Margie and I will try to get with Margie and see if I can get that information for you. Thank you. Have a good one. And thanks for being here and thanks for subscribing. Janice, my mom's cardiologist reported her pacemaker offline a week after she passed. So, yes, they apparently stopped working at some point. Have a good one, Jen. Should be on tomorrow, but we'll see. It should be on tomorrow. Janice, good middle morning, everyone. No doubt. Good to have you in here, Janice. Tennessee Grow, what makes people think we don't have the technology to track pacemakers without being linked to any device? Yeah, I don't know. I don't know enough about these pacemakers. That's out of my realm. I don't know much about them, but yeah, I don't know. It's a good question, though. Weeks before Nancy went missing, she was approached by someone and offered her money for those high valuable papers. She refused them. The Maybach guy was seen at Nancy's port. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I mean, I haven't really followed that information, to be honest. Elise B2 commented, he also said Nancy was decapitated, and she was. Interesting. Just got a message. I'm not expecting Chad to be able to answer any questions. No, I'm just telling you, if I can, I do. And if I can't, yeah, those are good questions. Simply stating my question. No, no doubt. We get it. We get it. Melanie, we all know whoever drives a Maybach doesn't work flipping burgers. Oh, you're talking about the Maybach vehicle. Yeah. Yeah, that is true. I remember. I know what you're talking about now, Melanie. Yes. Sabian, not only one. Wow, never heard that, Melanie. Yeah, that was new information to me. Janice, her dog passed, but Annie apparently had a black dog. Yes, okay. Makes sense, Janice. Thank you. Marianne, her dog passed away in December. I'm sure they cleared her bed and that hair was found on her bed. That very well could be. Thank you for that, Marianne. Sabian says, win. Sabian, every doctor office handles different, I'm told. Got you. That would make sense because it seems like they all have different answers. The doctors would know then, for sure. Melanie, a pacemaker battery can last up to 10 years. Now, that I've heard. That's for sure. I've heard that given by one of the doctors or one of the cardiologists, heart specialists, or whatnot. Lisa Page, which is it? Hey, Gronsky, can you hear me? Hey, everybody, just want to let you know my battery just died. He's back, yo. I do apologize. My battery just died and everything just went off. All right. Thank you so much, everybody. So sorry. Do apologize. The chat was going so well that I guess I just lost train of thought. And I didn't realize my battery was low. So I do apologize, everybody. Oh my lord! You know you're having a good live when you don't even remember it telling you that your battery is low. No doubt, very productive. No doubt, everybody. So sorry about that. That is not something that I anticipate. It just like it all went black and then it just turned off, and I was like, oh man. So yes, I do apologize. My bad. No doubt. Like I always told you guys, I would never just quit alive. Okay, I would never quit alive without sending my goodbyes to everybody and wishing you all a great day. I would never do that. You know what I'm saying? I just wouldn't do that. And always remember, what's your theory on this? On what? Give me a specific Tennessee girl. What are you talking about when you say, what's your theory on this? What is this? Tell me so I can answer that question because I'm not sure. What is your theory on this? On the case, on the Nancy Guthrie case? Who did it? Well, I'm still looking at my number one perp is still LD. Okay. LD is, in my opinion, is my number one because they can't tell me about the car. They can't tell me about his blue car that was totaled, that no one seems to know when it happened, where it happened. They just know that his blue car was totaled. And then no one could give me a date of when the 911 call came in, okay? When the 911 call came in about the woman that was screaming outside her window, screaming for help, I need to know the time that that 911 call came in to the time when the cops, whoever stopped them, because we know they were stopped at some point because Nano said they were. And he said that they had nothing to do with the case. Okay. So I need to know when when the 911 call was made to when the car was stopped. That would explain how much time they had because, in a theory of mine, it is very possible that that could have been Nancy in that vehicle. Follow me? Nancy could have been the person in that vehicle screaming for help. It was during the same time when she was abducted. So I would need to know exactly what time did that 911 call come in? What time did they make contact with that vehicle? If it was 30 minutes, 45 minutes, an hour, or something like that, then that's more enough time for them to panic, to panic. And, if she's screaming, I can just tell you in my mind, I can hear her say, if she's screaming, I can hear the driver say, shut her up. She's going to get us caught. Somebody hits her in the head or hits her in the face with maybe a gun or whatever, an object, or maybe just a fist. She ends up, her heart stops. She just can't go anymore. You have the disconnection. She becomes unalive. They now are checking, hey, is she breathing? No, she's not. I'm just playing the scenario in my head. They now say, oh, what'd you do? What'd you do? And that's their golden ticket, as they think, or their golden meal. They then take her out, find a real quick spot, do a shallow grave, not a grave, but a shallow hole, throw her in there, and they leave. They then leave. Then they're made contact with police. And then once they're made contact with police, they don't see that person in there. I've always said I thought it was, two guys and a girl. So cop makes stops. Now I'm going to give you the stopping part. The cop stops his vehicle, says, hey, we got a call from coming from someone that heard a woman screaming from a blue car, screaming for help. And we just have to make sure everything's okay. And then the girl in the back says, hey, it's all good, officer. There was no contact. There was no physical contact. It was just, me and my boyfriend, he was being dumb and I got mad and this and that. But no, I apologize. Everything's fine. He takes his flashlight, looks in the car, sees 3 perps in there. It's not what you see, it's what you don't see. Okay? So is it possible? Is it probable that Nancy could have been put somewhere real quick just so they can get out and dodge? You don't want to be caught with a unalive body in your car, right? Cop says, oh, calls dispatch. Dispatch, this is unit such and such. Go ahead, be advised, make contact with that vehicle. It was just a verbal dispute. Everything's good to go. 10-8. Clear. And that goes. And so then Nano gets the information and he's told, that had nothing to do with it. It was just it was just a verbal argument. Okay, it had nothing to do with Nancy. Well, of course it didn't, because you didn't see the body in there, right? You didn't see the body in there. Of course it didn't have nothing to do with Nancy. It's not what you see, it's what you don't see. And so my theory has always been that I need to know these questions about literally when the 911 call came in, when did the cops stop him, because all that happened to the same genre time as Nancy was abducted. It all fits. And then on top of that, no one's saying, when did Luke Daly crash his vehicle? He had a blue Charger. When did he crash it? Why is that important? Well, because did he crash it? Did they crash it on purpose, roll it down a little embankment to total it so that way they could get rid of the evidence? They clean it up. There's so many things. I could go on for hours, but I won't. But my theory is LD is my number one personal suspect. He had his interview. When the cops came up to him, when they were serving him the search warrant at Culver's for him and his mom, the first thing that comes out of his mouth when the cops come up to his door, he says, "Oh, is this about the Nancy Guthrie case?" Who says that? Not a, hey, did I roll a stop sign? What did I do, officer? Did I do something wrong? No, the first thing he says is this about the Nancy Guthrie case? And then when the officer goes and gives him lets him see the copy of his search warrant, and they have to search the vehicle, the very next thing he says is, do you want to search my phone too? Because you can. He said, I didn't have it on Saturday night. It was on my dresser. They didn't even ask for your phone. So why would you say that? I didn't have it with me Saturday night. It was on my dresser. You can check it if you want. You follow me? It just didn't make any sense. Then he goes on Brianna Whitney's. She's a crime reporter in Tucson. She does an interview. He's tired of people, saying he's a perp. So he goes on there. He shaves his mustache, shaves his goatee, shaves everything. You follow what I'm saying? He makes himself clean cut. He wears a long sleeve shirt to hide all his, what I believe is to hide all his tattoos. He wears a shirt buttoned up to the top so they don't see the tattoos on his neck. That Brianna Whitney asks him the same questions that I just told you what he said, and he confirms it. He says, "Yes, I said that. I did say that." And she asked, "Why would you say that to the officers? Is this about the Nancy Guthrie?" "Well, my mom was watching the case, and I wanted to go ahead and I think I was just, my mom had talked about the case because she was watching it on TV." Follow me? Um, and then he's really fidgety. He's really not really doesn't seem very like forthcoming. I'm reading his body language. Everything just says this guy is definitely a person they need to re-examine. No one knows where the car is at. They said the insurance company came and got it because they were checking it to make sure it was a total loss. The cops, Brianna Whitney asked him about the blue car. She said, "Don't you own a blue car?" And his answer was, "Yes, but it had nothing to do with Nancy Guthrie's case." Okay, who does that? Who really does all that? It's just not normal. And until I can get all those questions that I have answered, he is my number one suspect. Then you have another person. So another person that was, and I'm not going to go into all the detail, but basically there's another person, and then there's TC, and they took his word for it. Correct. And so then you have the guy that's reaching on the top, literally in the cam. They have the guy reaching on the top of the fence behind the house. He's my second person. We call him the double backpack guy, or the house guy, the guy in the back that was trying to unlatch the hook of the fence. The owners call 911. The officer comes over. The officer makes contact with him. He tells him he's just getting home, wants to put his stuff away. He says he lives there at the house. Officer says okay, calls it in. Officer leaves. He walks away from the fence line, only for the next day till the owners come out and say, "That guy doesn't live here. That guy does not live here." Yes, the backpack guy. That guy does not live here. So now you're asking the question, what the hell? What do you mean he doesn't live here? The cops just let him go. Yes, with the two backpacks. Looked like they had, and then Doug went ahead and did a comparison on the backpacks, and he could see where it looked like that on one of the backpacks it had a red stain mark going down, possibly blood. Doug on live Northport put that on his video. He has that. So there's so much there. So that's why he's my number two guy. TC is my number three because I told you guys earlier they cannot show him arriving or leaving. Arriving to drop off Nancy or leaving Nancy's house. And that is crucial. He's the last one to see her. So those are my top three. And then all of a sudden, this guy comes in. This Richard comes into play. And now he's also going ahead and he's stating literally all this has happened. It's a satanic cult. Now you go back to when the Gothic people were going in front of Nancy's house to go ahead and do a photo shoot. Remember the Gothic people, Kiki and the photographer, they were seen at that fetish satanic cult party or whatever it was called in Tucson, I believe on the 6th or the 7th. They were seen there. Okay? They were seen there. So you say, well, what's the big deal? Well, you put them now in front of Nancy's house. Yes, the Kiki photo. And you ask, really? Like, what were they doing that photo shoot? She's wearing her shorts, or her ass is hanging out of her shorts. Very disrespectful, the whole 9 yards. Then literally, they're able to see a photo on Instagram where her and the photographer are literally in that picture at that fetish party, or whatever, the satanic fetish party that was going on. On top of that, Kayla Day and Luke Daly. Kayla Day knows that girl, Kiki. They were friends, or are friends. Well, you know that he has to know her because they're all, he's with her. So if he's with her, I'm sure she come in contact with her, Luke Daly. So there's an affiliation. You see what I'm saying? It's a big old damn thing that all comes together. And that's why you hear me say all the time, there's always that connection, like they're all affiliated in some way, shape, or form. They have crossed paths. So now you have this man talking about literally, the Richard Nolette Jr., talking about that person in the front is his brother, talking about this was a satanic cult, unaliving. They took her, they put her in this lake. He tells you the who, what, when, where, why. I mean, he's died probably the fourth person. So I guess what I'm saying is, if you go back to my lives, you can watch the lives. Just watch those lives, and it'll tell you everything on why I suspected. My personal opinion, just my opinion, that I find it hard that these people cannot be cleared. It makes no sense. None whatsoever. They cannot be cleared. How do you clear that? And until I get all that information, then one by one, I would be eliminating them as people of interest. Once again, not people who done it, people of interest, because I don't know if they've done it. But it sure seems really odd. All those things. Now, here's the kicker. All these things, with the exception of Kiki and the photographer being in front of Nancy's house, all these other elements, from the guy with the backpack guy to uh, 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 TC to literally LD, the blue car going by with all this stuff happened at the same, almost the same exact time. Or when I say exact time, I'm talking about that time frame, that circle, all happens within that time frame. Kidding me? And we say what? It's all a coincidence. You follow what I'm saying? Literally, you ask the question, my God, how can this all that happened, a coincidence that would last a lifeline, a lifetime, a coincidence that would last a lifetime? You're saying, and I don't mean you, I'm saying in general, people are saying it's just a coincidence. They had nothing to do with it. You follow what I'm saying? There's too much there, Tennessee girl, too much there that for me, I don't buy coincidence. So all these people are in my view as people of interest. Just saying. That was in a short version. You have to watch the lives to really understand why. But I don't want to bore everybody, or get people to be like, "Oh my God, not again!" But yeah, it's all that, and it's on my live. It's on my feeds. You can watch them all, or watch whichever ones you want. But that's why I think happened. I think this was a kidnapping that went wrong. Literally, I think this was about money. It was always about money. It wasn't about just unaliving her, because they would have just unalived her and then left. If this was a cartel, they would have just done it and left. They're not going to sit there. They want people to know when they do something because that's how the cartel works. I don't believe it was cartel. I don't believe it was a burglary gone wrong because the fact is that they didn't take anything. Everything was there. They didn't take nothing. You know, fact of the matter is, if they walked into her house, she wouldn't hear anyway because she didn't have her hearing aids on, and she can't hear without her hearing aids. They could have took the whole house and cleared it out, and she would have never known. So that's out of the picture. I've always said from the beginning this was a kidnapping gone wrong, and I still hold true to that. Doesn't mean that there's not other playable things, right? That there's not other playable factors, like now we're hearing from Richard, but that doesn't mean that there's not literally a interaction on what took place by a lot of these people that you can see by me telling you this quick that there's a lot of interaction. No one's saying that any one of these are guilty. What I'm saying is these are my opinion, people of interest, because I can't get these things cleared. And in law enforcement, those things have to be cleared before you can say they're out of the equation. I hope that answers the question in a nutshell. But yeah, and no, I don't have a problem telling you. It's just that a lot of devil pups have heard this, and I didn't want to bore anybody else with all this stuff. So that's where I'm at. I hope I was able to answer your question. All right, let's see where we're at now. Sorry, got to find where I'm at now today. All right, all right. Who did it? God knows. I just wish he'd tell us to. Keep it simple, Gronsky says. That poor woman. She didn't deserve any of this, no doubt. I always say Luke seemed on edge for this whole interview. Janice, Luke, yep, he cleaned up. Sure did. Sabian says, yes, it could be. Gene, I'm still stuck on with everything we have. As far as technology, they haven't been able to solve it. Gene, yeah, and they took his word for it, no doubt. Makes no sense. Gronsky, Luke has friends that are kind of dark, no doubt. Jeannie, no checking up on it, nothing. Backpack guy, no doubt. Gene says, with the two backpacks, looks to be blood on him with car in background. The white, oh, I forgot about the white car. That was the white Kia Soul, remember? When that guy with the two backpacks walking by, he doesn't go to the first car that's right next to him. He keeps going. And what Doug does, Doug gone live Northport, he expands the video. And back here, in the back here, you see that white Kia Soul. Why is that important? Because there was a white Kia Soul hauling ass that Nancy's cam had gotten on her street, hauling ass during the same time she was abducted or in that circle. Too many connections to not be related. Too many things that are happening for people to say, oh, that's just a coincidence. You know what I'm saying? There's just so much there. And I'm looking at the clues as an officer in law enforcement. I'm looking at the clues on what could be the factor as to who, what, where, when, why. That's the answers I'm looking for. And I can't get anything to basically eliminate anybody of those people that I just told you. They are my personal people of interest. And now I'm starting to hear a lot of other channels talk about the blue car. No one was really talking about the blue car. No one was really mentioning the blue car. The woman screaming, what happened to Luke Daly's car? How did he total it? Was it a way to go ahead and kill the evidence? Get rid of the evidence. You follow what I'm saying? No one was talking about. Now I'm hearing a lot more streamers talking about it. I'm hearing people on channels talk about it. Podcasters talk about it. They weren't talking about it at the beginning, and that's what bothers me the most. I'll have to watch on my TV, says Janice. Ground ski, all under the full moon. Janice, yeah, thank God I'd fall asleep. It was later. Gene, his late streams are killing me laughing out loud. Little Red Bee says, sorry, I'm late, I'm busy, but will listen. Hey, to all. I really ought to wait to see this. Janice, hi, Little Red Bee. Hi, Little Red Bee. The cartel wouldn't mess with this. Kidnapping is usually a kid. Devil Dog 88, there's the email. Janice, who left the back doors propped open? I think the neighbor's dogs knew. Absolutely. No doubt in my mind, Janice. Jane, pretty ironic when S book came out about the game they played, right? That's a whole yeah, no doubt. They played the kidnapping game. Janice Gronsky, not necessary. Janice, yes, curiously. Uh, Samash Han says, bless you. Thank you. Don't forget, if you like the channel, subscribe. I'm telling you, this is all about common sense, all about information that's here. This is all about common sense. You know, you this is if you're looking for information that tries to intertwine everything. That's what I do is use my police knowledge to try to build those gaps. Tanya says thank you. I really hope they check the lake. It may be nothing, but at least checked. Absolutely. Eliminate that as a potential possibility, right? I mean, that's what you do when you investigate. You eliminate those things. When leads come in, you go out and you eliminate them, or they lead you to where you need to go. I don't think it's ritual related. Says Sabian combo event though. Their magic would protect them. I guess. Groundsky says I did not hear about the dogs barking. Yeah, there were dogs barking during that time frame of when everything was happening. The neighborhood the neighbor heard it. Tanya, my migraine meds aren't working. It might be the ER day. Janice, I don't think the dogs were barking, just acting strange. Tanya, they have me maxed out. All right, everybody, you guys heard it all. We've been on quite a while. I'm going to go ahead and end this live only because I think we've been on for a while. And I want to say thank you to all the new subscribers. Thank you to everybody who was a part of this. Thank you for all your questions. And understand, there's a lot here. If you want information, solid information, coming from somebody who at least has a background in law enforcement, then this is exactly what you want to be a part of. If not, I get it. And but thank you so much for everybody who has subscribed and who has liked. And I will be coming back hopefully tomorrow. Can't guarantee it because it's a Sunday. I like to take a day off, a break, but you never know. So if I come on, it'll be in the morning. Just want to let you all know. Thank you so much. Remember this. Remember this. There is no accusations made on anybody. This is simply, literally, this is simply opinions by the information that has been given and the information that we have obtained to try to connect the pieces. And when we connect those pieces, it just becomes people of interest, in our opinion. That's all. It's not saying one person is guilty and another is not. It's just saying they are people that probably should be talked to by the investigators, by police, Pima County, by the FBI, etc. So just remember that. So with that, everybody, God bless you. Thank you once again. I appreciate you all here. Until tomorrow, have a great weekend. Enjoy your day. Remember, everything is common sense. It's all about common sense. God bless, and you all welcome. And I hope you guys got a little bit more take on what is really going on. With that, Semper Fi, everybody.